We are live.
Yeah, we're saying people are back again. The previews are back. Crystal Palace versus Arsenal preview 22-23. The first game kicking off the new Premier League season, which of course starts tomorrow night. I'm really looking forward to it, but at the same time, I'm a bit sort of slightly nervous. Not scared of Arsenal, but I just don't know how the game's going to sort of like really go down, to be fair. And what do you make of it going into the game and that?
I wish we
Big
were.
one.
It's a big one, yeah. I mean, I wish we weren't playing Arsenal first game of the season. I think if we were playing them 6 games, 10 games in, it'd be a bit different. But they're really going to want to impress after the way they finished last season.
Well, they bottled it last. They bottled top four.
So they're going to really come out for us, I think. And the fact that we beat them 3-0 last season as well.
And got 2 draw the Emirates.
So it's going to be a tough game. But I think if we play, particularly the friendly against Montpellier. I know Montpellier weren't that strong, but we were very good in the first half.
Forward.
Eze, that
assist for the Zaha goal.
That's got to be Eze's assist is probably the greatest assist I've ever seen. I mean, it was worthy of a celebration, to be honest with you, on its own, the way the bit of trickery he did. But I mean,
what do you make of us going into this game defensively? Because we were 4-0 up against Montpellier, and then we made a few subs, and all just fell apart. It's like the team never played.
I know, but he's not going to.
I know it was a
he's not going to do that against Arsenal.
No, I know he wouldn't, but I'm not sure really about that, especially our goalkeeper.
Yeah, we were 4-0 up, and then basically we changed the team, and the wheels came off.
Pretty much,
we sort of you saw how sort of that our bench isn't perhaps as strong as we'd like it, and I think Vieira had an interview today where he was sort of
wasn't best pleased about the current situation of the squad.
I don't think he's particularly delighted with. I think he wants some more players in. Now, the transfer window closes at the end of August. But to be honest with you, I mean, any half decent players out there have already gone to a club.
Well, I mean, look at Maxwell Cornet. We apparently, if Zaha was because Zaha's contract expires at the end of the season, the ideal replacement would have been Maxwell Cornet. Now he's gone to West Ham. That's completely out the window. He had a release clause for around 10 mil as well, apparently 10 to 12 million, and we failed to pay it, and because we weren't ruthless and quick enough in swooping in and getting into Crystal Palace. West Ham had more money, offered it to him, and of course,
that's the thing. I mean,
us losing out on West Ham again.
It's the money, isn't it? You know what I mean? We're all in competition with West Ham and stuff like that. But no, if we can get the place humming tomorrow night, and if we can keep them at bay and nick a goal and stuff and put them under pressure, then who knows?
We got goals in this. I mean, it's always a high score.
I mean,
Palace and Arsenal,
our forward line, we've got goals in us. But I think against Montpellier, I thought first half when they came out, I thought we looked a bit top heavy.
Like we had too many players.
We had too many players up front.
Too many.
But Montpellier was so poor. I mean, we just
swept them aside basically.
But look. If we played like that, if we put a formation out like that against Arsenal, we're going to get kicked. Basically, we're going to get smacked 4-0. Look, it was Montpellier; they were a poor team, but let's just see how it goes. I mean, hopefully that we can, just keep our heads and get a result. I mean, if we get a result, if we get a win, brilliant. If we get hopefully a draw.
It's going to be really tough. I just don't want to get off to an absolute misery. Going, especially going.
I think at least it's expected back in about 2 weeks. You said.
Well, Marco Elise, he's going to be going back in 2 weeks. He's currently out injured for Crystal Palace. We're going to talk more about going about Arsenal and that, especially going into this game and that as well. So I mean, Arsenal's objectives this season, especially with starting off away to Crystal Palace, it's obviously to get top 4 and for Champions League football, isn't it? The more money, that's where they'll get more money. And the more, if they did that if they finish top 4 at the end of this season, and of course got Champions League football, they have more money to spend, and they could attract bigger names, and Arsenal could be the next Invincibles maybe next season or in a couple of years maybe. You never really know.
That's Arsenal. Could have, should have.
Pretty much. But they'll be in the Champions League. And I think this is the season for them to get top 4. They've signed Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko. Jesus has already got 7 goals for them. I know it's pre-season. One of their games in pre-season. They're looking pretty fine up top Arsenal. I'll be honest with you.
It's a different thing. Anyone can score goals in pre-season.
With our objective is a top 10 finish. I think this season is a must season. is a season just to get top 10. We must get top 10
Yeah,
because we bottled it
I
last
mean,
season away at Everton late on in the season and that.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I think
I would say a decent cup run as well, maybe League Cup, FA Cup, and maybe trying to push for the Conference League spots. Because realistically, looking at it last season, if we wouldn't have drawn, lost as many games later on, conceded as many goals and set pieces, didn't finish off games, we would have probably got Conference League. Come on,
we know that.
be honest,
We know that.
you know what I mean?
We know that. There was there's at least 8 to 10 points we dropped in games that we should really have just won. We didn't manage them well, and we dropped about 10 points, and those 10 points probably could have got us into this conference thing. However, to be honest with you, the problem that you've got when you qualify for this stuff is the season that follows. You're going to be playing about 60 games.
Yeah,
and that is a huge ask for a squad of Crystal Palace squad.
But we'll have more money though to spend on building players just to compete.
Yeah, I know.
Building up the squad to get players just to play in the Conference League, just to have it like one team in the Premier League and one cup team, and for Europe and that. As well.
But when Stoke qualified for UEFA, I mean that season they almost went down. They almost got relegated because they didn't have the squad to Fortunately, I think they got knocked out relatively early.
Yeah,
actually, and they was able to recover. I know they went down about the next season after, but I mean, I think if we've got the clout, if we do get it, to build up a good squad for the following season. But anyway, we've got to focus on this season because we've got a tough start.
Real tough start. Arsenal away, Liverpool away,
Liverpool,
Villa at home. That ain't going to be easy. They'll be as last season. Brentford in the end of August as well.
I mean, I think the thing is it's we all know what it's like in the Premier League. Every game. The great thing, one of the reasons I love the Premier League and everybody else loves it, is that every game is a tough game.
It always is. And you never know what you're going to expect.
There are no easy games in the Premier League. You know what I mean? You can. Man City could be playing somebody in the bottom three and get a really tough game and lose it. So
or you could see games like Aston Villa smacking Liverpool up 7-2, which has happened in the past.
It's a really competitive league, and it's getting tougher and tougher each season. Let
me ask you this question: do you generally think Arsenal could challenge maybe for the title this season? You don't think so? They've signed some experienced players who have won the Premiership, like Jesus and Zinchenko. And
but what I'm just saying,
I think the squad will be a lot fitter than last season, to be honest.
If Zeus was so good, Jesus was so good, why did Man City let him go?
Because he wanted a new challenge, maybe.
Well, no, I mean, that's the way you got to look at it. I mean, if Arsenal, where I would look if I was a team, if I was a Arsenal, Tottenham, whatever, you need to be in a position where you're competing to get the top players at your club. And then when you start beating the likes of Man City and Liverpool, then you can think we've got a good player. But if all you're going to end up is grabbing hold of their hand-me-downs, then
City did that with Arsenal back in the day. Samir Nasri, Clichy, they used to do it.
Yeah, I know. But I mean,
in a way, both clubs are just as sort of bad and similar to each other, really.
But
we're gonna answer a few questions. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. By the way, all my socials link in the description down below. Charlie Killick says, I'm going for a 1-1 draw tomorrow. A lot of people, I love the confidence there. It's not going to be an easy game, but a 1-1 draw sounds just about fair in my opinion. We'll do our predictions later on in this stream. Come on, the boys, just to Eze there, as you can see there. Shout out support for Eze. Jack Block says, when's Elise expected to be back? Well, like we said, he's going to be back in around 2 weeks' time, according to Crystal Palace and Patrick Vieira. Just to Eze says, just to Eze, so just to make sure I say that right and pronounce it well. Should have the banners out tomorrow. The banners will definitely be out. The flags will be absolutely flying high at Selhurst Park tomorrow night. It's going to be a mental atmosphere. Really good, really cracking, hopefully, as well. Let's get some more questions, guys, down below. Feel free to leave a comment as well if you want. We'll answer all the questions and as many as we can. And that S33K1. Most people looking for a draw, but I want us to win. I definitely want us to win. We beat Arsenal 3-0 last season. We should have beaten them at the Emirates last season. I think we've drawn a load of games with Arsenal as well. I mean, looking at our record against Arsenal, Crystal Palace have won 2 out of Crystal Palace. Yeah, in our last 8 games, believe it or not, we've won 2, drawn 5, and only lost once against Arsenal in our last 8 games against the Gunners.
Yeah.
Not a bad record.
No, and that's pretty good. Bearing in mind, in my day, Arsenal was always a bogey team. I mean, we never did well playing Arsenal, you know. But and they haven't got a good record at starting the season well.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, with Arsenal, starting the season, I mean, they've had some really bad defeats. They conceded a lot of goals. I remember the beginning of the season back in 16-17. They lost 4-3 home to Liverpool and they were 4-1 down. But defensively, were absolutely awful. I mean, Arsenal have won 4 out of their last 9 games, kicking off a Premier League season and that. So, the opening fixtures and that for Arsenal. So it's not a good record. It's a bit 50-50. With us, we've only won 2 out of 9 of our opening games for Premier League season since we got promoted back in 2013. So we kind of got a worse record than Arsenal.
We've always been poor starters.
Remember when we lost to Huddersfield 3-0 at home and we thought we were going to win and we bottled it when we had the ball, and then that started off a 7-game winless run with 7 straight defeats, 0 goals scored, and yet we stayed up just about.
That's probably got one of the best Premier League recoveries ever, I think.
No, pretty much. I mean, hopefully we're not in a similar predicament this season with the start we got the season. We've got some more questions coming through as well. We're going to answer as many as we can, people. Love the support and that, by the way, as well.
He didn't play against Montpellier, did he?
Yeah, just Tueze. Yeah, he says, do you think Ebiobi could have a good amount of game time tomorrow, like 30 minutes? I reckon he'll come on as a substitute, maybe 20 minutes, I'd say 15 minutes. If we're
Montpellier didn't play, did he? He didn't come on, did he?
Ebiobi? Yeah, he came on. He came on, he was playing on the right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was all right. I didn't think he didn't really have an impact. He's quite young still. He's like 18, isn't he? So, it's a big gamble. So, hopefully it works out. But we just need to I think he just needs a bit of game time. If we bring him on, then he comes on and scores, does an Edwards, coming on and scoring in the first minute, then that would be brilliant. That would boost his confidence pretty well.
I think it's all about sort of confidence with a lot of players. But
well, I mean, you could say the same with Eze as well.
Yeah,
the way he's playing right now in pre-season has been pretty good.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see him play this season, honestly.
Eduardo got a couple of goals against Montpellier.
Yeah.
He's very much a player who needs confidence.
I think them 2 goals will give him the boost.
But so he'll probably have a good season. Hopefully he's putting the hours in the training, which I think is his issue. He doesn't train hard enough. But so we look. It's going to. The thing is, it's going to be a tough start. And what I don't want to happen is it sort of knocks our confidence a bit.
Yeah,
because
we got stuff like 4-1.
You know what I mean? That's the thing. If you start and then, so if you play well, it's not too bad. If you play against Arsenal, we play really, really well. Even if you think, well, we did really play well, so but if we lose heavily tomorrow night, it could really knock your confidence.
Yeah, and that'll be an indicator for the board to wake up and sign some players. Especially when you start the season off bad. I mean, look at Arsenal last season. They lost their first 3 games, 0 points, rock bottom of the league. They signed a few players on deadline day, and then they started to pick up.
Yeah,
you never know. You never know. Really, so I think that might be the wake up call. We did have a real bad start on that as well.
What's that next from Charlie?
Yeah, Charlie Killick says, how did you find QPR the away?
Oh, QPR was it April?
Sorry, it was a brilliant away day. Getting there was quite long. The central line train we got on was about what? Like an 8-minute wait because of some delays. It was so stuffy and hot.
London transport sucks.
TFL, I should say.
Hashtag. We was on this stuffy central line train. And so it's not a nice place to travel to. But the seats were I sat down.
The leg room, you mean? The seats weren't that bad. It was the leg room.
There was absolutely no leg room. I mean, fortunately, I could sit sideways because I couldn't sit normally.
We had a couple of empty seats next to us.
Tristan and I, both of us, are over 6 foot, and it was just ridiculous. So so we had good support at the Palace end.
Yeah, Lise was in the stand as well.
Yeah, apparently Lise was sitting with the Palace fans.
Yeah.
I never saw him, but apparently it was so good.
I didn't really bother getting a picture.
There was a handful of. I thought there was probably more Palace fans.
There was I think it was at least like 2,000 Palace fans. 2,500.
Again, it's a ground that we've never had much good. Not been very got a good record again.
Well, QPR were rubbish. To be fair. I mean, there's a reason why they're in the Championship and we're in the Premier looking at it. You know what I mean?
I went there back in the early '80s when we got knocked out in the quarterfinals once. The Palace fans sort of all kicked off because we got knocked out of the cup. But yeah, lack of ambition was a Palace
Yeah,
fan
let me-
sometimes.
What's he saying there? S33K1 says the lack of ambition we as Palace fans have sometimes, I wonder. Yeah, I do sort of question it. I feel like some Palace fans sort of just are more concerned about us surviving relegation rather than pushing to try and get Europe or finishing in the top 10.
I mean, after last season,
I'm quite optimistic.
After last season of Vieira, I think he's changed the mood at Palace in that stop looking over your shoulder and look forward. So again, I want another season like that.
I mean, this season is our 10th consecutive season,
and it's great that that's how we should really be. Ultimately, sometimes you just have to be sort of realistic about it. I still would like a couple of more good two more good signings.
I would say we've been heavily linked to Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah, I know.
But what would you make of that in coming back for a second loan spell, especially he scored against us at Wembley?
I think he'd be a good. I think he'd be a good player for Palace because I think he's.
He can sit deep as well.
Yeah.
We have
I think Palace. I think players come to Palace and they settle in quite well.
Yeah.
Obviously we're upset we couldn't get Conor Gallagher over the line and stuff, but hey,
I'm not fussed to be first at the end of the world. I don't think he's going to come to Palace. He would have come a month ago. Do you know what I mean? If it was a permanent deal or a 2-year loan or something.
Obviously, I'd love it if we had a real good stadium. Although I quite like the stadium because of the great atmosphere we generate at the ground. I think that's a unique.
There's a lot of improvements to the stadium. I would say, like the Arthur Waite stand, the main stand, and I think some bits of the stand, some bits of the stadium where you're watching the game should be terrace, and then you should stand for the whole game and just create a bit more of a better atmosphere.
I like the uniqueness of Crystal Palace, and it's like we're going to do it our way, and which is good. But we need to sort of stop doing this thing where it's like,
we are staying up. Like if we get to 40 points and there's 5 games to go, and we all switch off, it pisses me off a little bit, to be honest. I felt like we did that last season. After we got knocked out of the semi-final, the FA Cup and that at Wembley against Chelsea and that, I feel like we sort of. I mean, I feel like we sort of just like.
Well, I don't think
as much as we should.
I don't think it's that generally when you're a player, I should imagine, and you're playing in the FA Cup semi-final, you get knocked out. Mentally, it knocks you for 6. And as you know, when you're playing a game of football, particularly in the Premiership, not only do you have to be 100% on it, you have to be 100% mentally on it as well.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then you get punished. So quite often after a semi-final defeat, the team's form will dip. And also when you win stuff, I mean, you think of the fantastic ladies who won the Euros at the weekend.
Credit to them.
One thing that they've got to be wary of is they're on a high. They're up there somewhere. And
I was amazed by the attendance, by the way, for that game. As well.
Well, they've already sold. They got friendly against USA. It's already been sold out. They almost knocked the website over. There's so much demand.
Literally.
So that's great.
It's good to see that women's football, getting better and doing well. And exactly. Wouldn't you agree?
I think it's brilliant. I mean, I might even think about getting to watch the Palace ladies this season. Sort of, because I think that'd be great. But I understand where you're coming from, the lack of ambition thing. I mean, it's been last season I thought, look, let's start looking forward.
We did look forward. I think we were just.
I know, but I think
it was Vieira's first full season. It was his first full season with the team that he built up. I think this is the season for us to really push on, to not look back in that, just to push on and just risk it all. Really,
I was a Roy fan.
But
actually, I look at it now, and I'm pleased that he went when he did, and we got Vieira in. I think.
But imagine Roy at Palace last season. I reckon we would have got relegated. I'm not going to lie. It would have been the most boring and miserable.
The problem is when you've got somebody Roy the way he plays.
Things just get stale.
The players get bored. If I was a player and I was in a Roy Hodgson team, after about a season of playing under him, I'd get really bored. I mean,
it just became the same old, really. Didn't it?
I think with Vieira, it's a fresh air, and it's just be more expressive,
more entertaining football. Do you know what I mean? With a younger team rather than a team over 35. But yeah, let's get some more questions down below, people, as well. Going into this game, your lineup predictions, your score predictions, your thoughts, any certain players that you want to, see like be featured within the Palace team tomorrow. Who knows what to expect really. We're going to move on talking about the game anyway. So in our last 8 games, Arsenal have only beaten us once, believe that or not. So they haven't really got a good record. We might be Arsenal's bogey.
That was the COVID game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think everyone knows what happened there, but we're not going to talk about that. A bit of a rough one to take, to be fair. Yeah, literally. Arsenal also have had they've been on a high pre-season and that. Gabriel Jesus, £45 million for Manchester City, of course. He's already got 7 goals for them. We got a hat trick the other day against Sevilla at the Emirates in the Emirates Cup game, which they beat them by 6-0 in that as well. He looks very dangerous, and his finishing. If you're not picking him up, he'll just punish you just like that. Literally, he's so good at his finishing. He like some goals he scores from like certain angles. You wonder how he puts them away and that. He's just the kind of guy who's just like one touch, ball in the back of the net. You know what I'm saying?
The thing as well, you got to think about is with the World Cup coming up, you're going to have some of these players like Jesus. He's going to obviously want to be in the Brazil squad, so they are going to be really gunning for it. They want to be in their squad for their country. Yeah, so you got players who are on borderline whether they're going to get into the squad or not, but they're going to really push for it.
Yeah.
So
it'll be a weird season.
It's going to be a World Cup in the middle. It's going to be a season of 2 seasons,
pretty much.
And
there's going to be one team that's going to be like in the top 10, like maybe 6th or 7th, and then they could get relegated. It's one of them seasons, isn't it? Because of the World Cup in the middle, a lot changes.
Yeah, when the World Cup starts, you can see it. You can just see it now. The World Cup starts. It's bottom 3 teams, and it's like, well, what do? We've got 6 weeks break now.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of our manager. Let's get another manager in. You can train the team up.
Yeah,
for 6 weeks.
It's like a bit of a pre-season, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I think that come the World Cup, you're going to see a lot of managerial changes, people being sacked and all sorts of things going on. And then, of course, when it starts again, it's like back to square one. So if you finish well, you then got to pick yourself up. And the thing is, as well, you've got to understand is that you'll have a player who goes into the World Cup full of confidence, has an awful World Cup, comes back as dead as a door now, and has got to try and play football and just can't reach the heights.
And that might be Arsenal's downfall potentially. Potentially, like the reason why they may not be able to make top 4 is because Jesus could go to the World Cup, or some of their top players, they could get injured. Their team could either even get knocked out, and their confidence would just be flat for the second half of the season, and that may cost them the top 4. A bit like Aubameyang, he obviously had a good season a couple of years ago, and sort of COVID hit, and he wasn't the same since, really. Do you know what I mean? So you never really know. And I think the World Cup is going to affect teams like Arsenal, like Tottenham, like Chelsea, more than it would with teams like, I don't know, Leeds, Brentford, and Palace. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, speaking of Arsenal and that as well, I can remember last season, looking at this, they finished 21 points above us. They finished 5th, and we finished 12th. And we still managed to take 4 points off them. And we won, like 5-2 on aggregate over the 2 games.
Should have taken 6.
6, definitely. That would have been brilliant. 30 seconds to go.
That was the only mistake I thought Vieira made then. I always remember that substitute. He changed the formation, and he put a sub on, changed the formation with 10 minutes to go, and not a good thing.
Now, Arsenal, looking at it here, they've got Emil Smith-Rowe, aka the Croydon De Bruyne. He's going to be out injured tomorrow. Kieran Tierney and Tommy Asu, both their star fullbacks, are going to be missing. Defensively, I don't think Arsenal are going to be at their best. Maybe going forward, if we could just keep it tight, if we could just mark the likes of Jesus, Martinelli, Saka, who are going to cause a lot of problems. Their players are watching that as well. Martinelli, with his skills, his flicks, and his tricks, and his passing, and his link-up play, the Brazilian link-up with him and Jesus, that could cause us a problem. Bukayo Saka, that left foot of his is deadly. If you give him the time and the space, he will punish you. And he's very good at just holding up the ball and just his movement sometimes as well.
Hopefully, Arsenal might turn up and be a bit too overconfident about things. You just don't know.
They were overconfident last season. Don't you think? I mean, before that game, what's it, the 3-0 back in April? I thought we'd lose. I think I said we draw or we lose or something. Because they were on a roll.
Yeah, they were.
And then we went 2-0 up after 24 minutes.
They were on a roll until they
wow.
What is this? And it was just our night.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there's one other player as well, Martin Erdogan. What do you make of him? This guy, set piece He's Arsenal set piece specialist. He scored a brilliant free kick last season away at Burnley. I can remember.
Yeah.
Got 4 assists and 7 goals last season as well for Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean,
Norwegian
you know,
they signed
I
from
know.
Madrid, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, they are what they are, but I mean, you know what Arsenal are like. They promise the earth and never deliver. So,
But they got a striker this time who could score goals. Unlike last season with Lacazette at being crap and Aubameyang just going.
Jesus never scores goals consistently. That's why Man City got rid of him.
Oh, he seems to be doing it for Arsenal already.
Yeah, well, couple of
He's got no faith in Jesus.
I'm
not supporting him. I'm just saying.
I don't like him.
No.
He's just never been consistent. That's why he's always been on the bench.
Yeah, but playing for Arsenal will get more space. Will get more game time. He may get 20+ goals a season.
There's a big difference between playing a friendly and playing the Premiership.
Well, you never really know, to be fair. More questions coming through from Just Eze. Do you think ever? Oh, we've already answered that question. Oh, here we go. Sorry, people, my bad. Ben Norton, have you guys got the home kit this season? Well, this is the thing. Apparently, the home kit hasn't even been delivered over yet.
Because of
COVID or something.
We was on the BBC breakfast time because they were talking about the teams in the Premier League who've got a problem with their kit, and there was 2 clubs that have got hit worse than others. We were one of them.
Oh, Jesus.
And because we didn't have the first team kit or the second team kit, which was at the Montpellier game, the black kit with the
sash. The third one.
They had those, and they were selling like hotcakes. I mean, they were just almost disappearing as you looked.
I'm probably going to try and get one tomorrow.
One stupid thing at the Crystal Palace shop. I went in there. Thought it was all sunny days. I thought, I'll buy myself a baseball cap. So you go in there, and I said, and there's a stand with woolly hats. I mean, who wants a woolly? I mean, come on, Palace. Putting woolly hats out on
the whole thing there is pretty.
So I said, "Have you got any baseball caps?"
Yeah, I remember.
And they said, "No, we haven't got any." And I said, "Only these woolly hats." I said, "Yeah, just what you want in this sort of weather, isn't a nice woolly hat?"
No.
I mean, this is where Palace just sort of miss a bit of a trick.
Yeah.
But the kits they had, the third, I think it was the third team's kit or whatever, were going well.
The black one.
But the shop itself was absolutely rammed.
Yeah. Probably the queues on it like half an hour. What do you make of the kits, by the way?
I don't like them.
You don't like the home kit? The away one with the white here and the red and blue, and the black one.
No,
I saw it first, and I was thinking what you were thinking. Then as I looked at it in real life and in person, I was like, "This looks a little better."
I'm a bit of a traditionalist. No, he is. I mean, the kits just look like they've been designed for some 3-year-old. You know what I mean? Sorry, but yeah, I don't like them personally. But there you go. That's just my opinion. And for what it's worth,
I'm still going to get him one. I'll probably love it. Just do you think Richards can play right back when fit? Well, we played the other week. He is fully fit. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he'll probably be on the bench because he's not fully up to standards with the pace of the Premier League, which is understandable.
Because he came. He didn't come on a sub, did he?
He came on as a sub.
Yeah, he came on
number 26, the American.
Yeah. So, it's very difficult because.
What do you make of this time? He can play left back, right back, and centre back as well.
Yeah, but he's got the quality to play there. You know what I mean?
He was at Bayern Munich. He's won Bundesliga. He was at Hoffenheim. Did well.
Yeah, well, you know what my opinion is of players who play in the Bundesliga. I mean,
I don't. It's not that. You can't say that for every single player.
Not everyone, but I mean,
I know Haaland missed City the other week.
It's like Haaland, right?
You know what I mean?
They all think he's going to be the saviour.
He's world class. He's world class.
Yeah, it's so world class. He missed a goal from 6 yards, against, an open goal against Liverpool. I mean, I don't know if you saw it. I mean, he got a rebound. I could have put that in, and he puts it over the bar. You know what I mean? So
it's the Bundesliga curse.
Look, he's probably a great player. He'll probably have a great season. But I'm not that convinced.
He's got his doubts about him, to be honest.
But the amount of players who come over from the Bundesliga come into the Premier League and don't cut the mustard, and it's because the Bundesliga and these other leagues in Europe are not competitive. I mean, I know we're not the best league. We've got lots of our faults, but unfortunately, a lot of the leagues in the rest of Europe are not competitive. And I think they come over to play in the Premier League, and it takes them a good while just to get up to the pace of the game. And you're playing week in, week out. And this season, the teams that are pressing here in Europe, they are going to be playing because of the World Cup, they are going to be playing 3 games a week.
Basically,
It's Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Probably, but you understand what I'm saying. They're going to be Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday.
The amount of injuries you're going to get
that's
before the
where
World Cup.
somebody like Crystal Palace, who we're not in Europe, and where we can
look at teams like West Ham as well. They're in the Conference League and that. Do you know what I mean?
So I mean,
really
so we could pick up points. I mean, I did say as well, this substitution business.
With a 5 substitution rule.
Which I'm not.
It's either going to be good or it's either going to be hell.
I think in the early part of the season, I mean, tomorrow on Friday night, for instance, he gets 70 minutes, and then Arsenal could bring on a second team. I mean, it's going to be, they
might as well play a 5-a-side.
But
literally, honestly, here we go as well. Ruben Loftus-Cheek celebrated against us. No, man. Yeah, I was thinking about that. It'd be kind of awkward if he came back. Obviously he was alone at Palace and he was very close with the fans, and we felt we should have signed him probably on a permanent and that, but it took us. It never happened anyway. And then he celebrated.
The thing with him,
might be a little awkward if he did come back. That's what I was going to say.
The thing is, though, you think that with Loftus-Cheek, the fact that people are talking about him coming to Crystal Palace, then he must know that he's not going to get the consistent games with Chelsea.
Well, with Gallagher there, look, Kovacic, Kante, I can't see him getting that team. He's not world class.
I know.
He's average.
Hence
why he's with another loan move back to Palace. You know what I mean?
I think Chelsea might have some problems this season, because I don't think the managers.
Well, they haven't even got a striker. Werner's on his way out. Leipzig want him back, and Newcastle interested in him. Lukaku's out on loan. What are they going to do? Recall him back? Do you know what I mean? That's why I predicted them to finish 5th, and that's why I think Arsenal are going to get top 4, because they got a striker that can put the ball in the back of the net. Plus, their backup striker in Nketiah seems like he's doing well as well, and I rate him, to be fair. That number 14 shirt might be the goddess for him. Do you know what I mean? Honestly,
I'm not going to be convinced about Jesus.
Still not. I mean, we're going into this fixture.
I know what happened. He'll come and score.
Don't say that.
Go on.
Speaking of goals and that as well, the top Palace scorers in this fixture, you got Jordan Ayew, who scored 3 goals in his last 6 against Arsenal. Luka has scored 5 in his last 12, which is mediocre a little bit. But I mean, people are suggesting he may start tomorrow alongside the Doucouré. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a minute. Benteke with 3 goals in his last 7 against Arsenal as well. Benteke may start. Vieira might be like, Benteke's got a good record. We could play him and he might score a hat-trick. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, but you know what I mean. He came on the other week against Montpellier, and he was just off it. He had no pace. I looked at it. Do you want me to show you this right now? No, I won't even show you, but I'll tell you. He was in the predicted lineup for Crystal Palace. The midfield was Doucouré, and alongside him was Luka. Apparently, he's one of the favourites to be started. Could have his so-called Premiership experience. I mean, he's got that, but he's rubbish. He's got no pace.
The thing against Luka came on a sub against Montpellier. And as soon as he breaks in that midfield, he's done for.
Players are just running past him.
The only if Luka plays, he has to play right smack bang in front of the 4 and not go up the pitch, because he has no pace.
He pushes forward too much. He needs to be more deeper. He needs to sort of drop between defenders.
When he pushes forward, we start playing with 10 men.
Exactly,
because
he hasn't got the pace to like trap back and literally.
He's never been the quickest of players, and it shows so badly when that happens. I mean, the Montpellier a couple of times ran past him like he weren't there.
Do you know what it reminds me of? That ex-Arsenal donkey, Flannery.
Yeah.
He actually reminds you of that.
Flannery.
It's like Luka might as well retire now.
I could run past Flannery.
You're 60, Dad. I don't know, but we'll see.
Exactly.
Honestly, we've got so many questions coming through.
It's getting the top 7. Exactly. I think we should be aiming high.
We'll be going on a European tour next year.
We should be aiming high.
We should be.
That's what we should be.
Imagine it was the last game of the season against Nottingham Forest, and that's the game to win to get the Conference League. That'd be brilliant. I'll be over the moon if that actually happens.
I think we.
You know what I mean?
I'd still want a player in that team that's got a bit of nastiness about them.
Yeah.
Still, I think
Doucouré might be that player in midfield. He's got potential.
Mind you, some of the tackles the Palace were doing, I mean, they were. I mean, it was Matata. he took.
Oh yeah. Oh,
he came
boy.
down. He came down on the back
Lucky
of
he didn't get
someone's
red.
leg. I mean, without in the Premier League, I mean,
VAR.
you're close to a red
Off the
card.
pitch, you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? It was a bad one. You know,
pretty risky, honestly. I mean, let's just hope Luca or the Courier don't get sent off against Arsenal tomorrow. So, especially Luca, he's the kind of guy that would commit a tackle. Ben Norton says, "I hope we have a couple purple patch." So I hope we have a purple patch right at the start of the season, so that if we're in bad form before the World Cup, we can get some momentum going after. So basically, what he's saying is he wants our bad start to sort of happen before the World Cup rather than after. If you're having a bad start, as we've experienced, have it at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna, the thing is, right, if you're gonna have a bad run, do it at the beginning of the season. Only because you've got time to look at it and sort things out. As I say, when that season we lost the first 7. Now, if the manager, if we were
that was Christmas,
if we were sort of borderline, if we'd done that at Christmas, you're thinking, oh, we're in serious trouble here. So if you're gonna have a bad run, do it at the beginning, so you've got time to get it sorted.
Yeah, and you have I mean, January is no good, is it? But January, you can't fix everything in a month. It takes time. Do you know what I mean?
I do want to get because when I look at Palace's form and stuff, it's always things like win, draw, win, lose, draw. It's always there's not a it'd be just nice if we had a win, draw, lose, win. You know what I mean?
The last time we won that 4 in a row was in 2020 before COVID, and then we won a game after COVID. Then after that, we fell off completely.
Oh no, because we beat Bournemouth and we were safe, and then we just went to the beach.
Yeah. I mean, that team, looking back at that, the team back then in the 1920 season would never have gotten Europa League anyway. Because everyone thought we'd get Europe, but they weren't good enough. Hazard a Man says, "What's the latest on Wan-Bissaka? I'm hearing he's coming back to Palace. The next is he's not." Well, in my opinion, I mean, I've said this I've said this in all my videos that I've done transfer stuff on it. If Bissaka was coming to Palace, he would have been here by now.
I think he would have been here.
Why is he still at Man United?
My problem is we seem to be flooded with left backs, right backs.
Yeah. The problem is, sorry, can I say something? Vieira sort of was basically saying he's sort of 50-50 on whether Wan-Bissaka should come to the club. We've got 2 right backs, Klein and Ward, who've been doing well. Ferguson, he can play right back as well. And left back. Do you know what I mean? Chris Richards can play right back. I don't think we need him. He might as well play him as a central defensive mid.
Yeah,
he can tackle.
There are other areas of the pitch that we need to strengthen. The position he plays. So for that reason,
I reckon midfield, winging midfield.
I wouldn't have him at the moment, to be honest with you. He needs to go and pick his confidence up somewhere else. He's still a good player. I think in 5 years' time, we look back at his time at Man United, and I think it's down to him.
Yeah,
but, I think
maybe 10
he's still got the potential to become a really good player. So
can you see Man United changing in the next 2 years, challenging for titles, silverware? I mean, the whole thing with Ronaldo as well. I mean, him leaving early. I know we're going off topic a little.
I can't.
That's why I don't. That's why I don't understand why Bissaka's still at Man United, but at the same time, maybe he wants to stay there because he can see Man United changing and challenging for titles with the way Ten Hag is sort of adapting to life there and trying to change and turn the whole Man United saga around in a way. I mean, getting a winning.
Who knows?
Who knows? You're right. Sarah CPFC got another question from Sarah as well here. Still in for a centre mid. If so, who do you think we should get? Well, Loftus-Cheek. I'm sort of 50-50 with it. I kind of want him, but I don't want him at the same time. I don't know if this is going to be awkward with him being back at the club after him celebrating against us in that semi-final game at Chelsea in the FA Cup and that. I can't really think of anyone else really. Apart from maybe Ruben Loftus-Cheek, the Gallagher thing. I mean, Conor Gallagher's he can play in centre mid deep down, but I don't think he's coming back to Palace anyway. But we saw that a month ago. But yeah, I would say Loftus-Cheek right now. I can't really think of anyone else. Gibbs White is obviously staying at Wolves. He's clearly not interested in Crystal Palace. That's all sort of quiet as well.
I just want
Lingard's gone to Forest. He's not coming to Palace. Do you know what I mean?
I just want a player in that pitch who's got a bit of steel in their legs, to be honest with you. And can really sort of, really be solid, and help out at the back. I know hopefully the crew will do that, but
I think we got.
I think again, it's the issue that we're always going to have is like when we start to pick up injuries. you know, how the rest of the squad can adapt to that. But
Yeah.
you know, we'll see.
Another suggestion here. Saga from PSV. Maybe I was reading up about him a month ago. That deal's not going to happen. We were heavily linked with him at one point, and like his head maybe turned, to come to Palace, but he's staying at PSV. I just don't think he would want to sort of be in the Premier League. To be fair, I think he's settled over there, and I think it was just a rumor that sort of just got too much everywhere on the media. To be fair, so I don't think that's going to be happening as well or anytime soon. Ben Norton, no, don't start Luca. I would rather give Chiarte a new contract and sell Luca to Fulham. Well, that's all gone quiet. Chiarte's left him. Luca, he's going nowhere. They signed Fulham have signed Pereira, so I doubt they're going to sign Luca Milivojevic. For God's sake, and they signed a few other defenders.
No one's coming in. No one in the Premier League.
Palace for another season.
No one's going to sign. No one in the Premier League is going to sign Luca. He's just not going to. I mean, as fans, we can see it. You know, if someone was to buy him, I'd be like, thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
And bye.
Bye. Yeah, exactly. Abdi Sijar, let me know if I said that right. I'm an Arsenal fan. Saka is not even a footballer.
I'm an Arsenal fan.
Saka is not even a footballer. Saka is not a footballer. Okay, moving on. Oh, so I'm going to come back to this. He thinks, so we got an Arsenal fan thinking Bukayo Saka's overrated. Who was their top scorer? Bukayo Saka last season with 11 goals. He wasn't even a striker. He was a right mid, and he can play fullback. About Saka's overrated. Yeah, I mean, but I think, but I rate Bukayo Saka. He did really well last. Well, I don't know what he's on about. He thinks basically he's saying Saka's overrated. He's a hater on Bukayo Saka, which is a bit odd for an Arsenal fan, isn't it? I don't understand that.
Well, perhaps Arsenal aren't. Perhaps he means that Arsenal aren't a football team.
Does it? I don't think he means that.
That's why he's perhaps he thinks that all the Arsenal players are not footballers. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind him in my team, but there you go.
I would love him in our team. He's brilliant.
Keep taking the pills.
I still pick Zaha over him though, but I rate Saka. Yeah,
Saka comes up, but he's still young.
He's like 21, 20, I think. Isn't he?
All these people that just sort of
abuse him,
whatever.
If he still gets
when the players that's just what I'm saying. You see, if Saka was at the Palace, the fans will be backing him.
Oh, they would be,
100%, and trying to get him to encourage to do the right
thing. It just
things.
says more about how Arsenal fans are fickle. Not all of them, but some of them. Like the fake Arsenal supporters, like them on TV.
Don't get me on Arsenal fans.
We'll talk about that later. We'll have a chat about that.
Don't get me on Arsenal fans.
Sarah CPFC says, what do you think about Ebiobi? Next Palace star, next Zaha maybe? He plays on the right. I think he came on the other day. I saw him in pre-season, and when we went to Melbourne in Australia and Singapore, his movement and his skills was pretty good. He sort of reminded me slightly of Elise a little bit, but Elise is miles ahead.
I think
he's still young.
I think he needs to get games under his belt, like a lot of players. I mean, it's so important that they get the keep coming on the sub.
Would you rather him starting or bring him on as a sub every tomorrow?
I'd probably. I don't know.
Because he plays on the right. He plays on the right.
I'd probably initially. I think I'd have him initially come in. I'd have him on the bench.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just have to sort of wait and see, because I mean, this time last season with what's his name? The guy who scored against Tottenham. His name escapes me. Eduardo.
I want to be a
he came on and he looked brilliant, and then he just faded.
Montpellier.
You know what I mean? So
he has confidence and he's inconsistent.
25
mil we signed for him. So we paid for him. So a lot of money. And he got 6 goals last season. I expected a lot more. He came on against Tottenham and scored 2 goals. I was like, yes, we got our striker. 20 goals a season. And he got 6. Disappointing there.
Olsen.
No. We got another one. Willie said become a Palace legend. If we can keep him, if he comes back and starts scoring goals,
he's still young enough to sort of. He's got to keep improving.
Well, he played for the France. He played for the France under 21s. For God's sake.
He's got to keep improving.
He's doing well,
so
he's very injury prone. I think.
He's got
That's the one thing I'd say. That might be a downfall towards his career a little bit.
I mean, you've got to keep yourself fit. Unfortunately, with the speed and he's got, he tends to get in because he's so quick. You tend to get players like that get a lot of foot injuries because they get tackled late. They're so quick. The player dives into tackle them and they get stamped on the foot. So that's the problem with a lot of these quick players. That's the sort of injuries they get.
We got another question here. Where are you sitting for the Arsenal game? Usual spot. Whitehall's Lane. And
yeah, we wanted to move, but we couldn't.
The
Palace gave me the wrong date, and whatever. So I was
that's
really
Crystal Palace. We're going to hold that against. They let us down.
They let us down. They let us down. So we stay where we are. I'm sorry. Palace admin sucks. So if there's anybody at Crystal Palace watching this,
I think there is.
You need to get your finger out, because for the last 5 or 6 years, the admin at Crystal Palace is absolutely
diabolical.
I mean, it's not even appalling. I wouldn't even give it one.
Well, you were on the phone for like 3 hours once. The other day you told me you were raging at me because you're on the phone for 1 hour. They trying to get your season ticket.
They sent the season tickets. Okay, so he gets his season ticket and I don't get mine. And then when I went to Crystal Palace, she printed one off, but she printed the wrong ticket off
with my seat.
So I had to phone them up. 50 minutes I'm there. 50 minutes waiting for them, and they get that. I had 50 minutes of glad all over. Can you believe it? And you wonder why when the players come out.
Basically, he don't hate the song. He just finds it jarring, and maybe he gets irritated by it too much.
If my one ambition in life at the moment is to stop that song at Crystal Palace and come up with a different song, because that song does my head in, quite frankly. And it's all because whenever you phone Crystal Palace up and they don't answer the call, you get that all the time. And and it's not just like a one-off thing. It's been like this now for the good 5 or 6 years. And every single Palace fan I talk to has the same experience and the same thing, in that you can't get through. You have to go and take a couple of hours out of work. You have to get in your car. You've got to drive all the way over to Sellers Park to get your stuff sorted out, because
they don't answer usually as well.
And again, when you get there, you've got a big queue.
20-minute wait.
I mean, I don't know what Parish is doing in that respect, but the guy who runs it, I don't know who he is, operations manager, whatever. But
should be fired. Do you agree?
Yeah. Fired and sent to Siberia, to be honest with you. I mean, it's just appalling. For Palace fans,
we've been in the Prem for nearly 10 years, Dad.
I know it's not like for
Brentford could do a better job, and they've only been in the Prem for less than a year. Do you know what I mean?
We're not asking for much. I mean, I don't expect the phone to be answered in the first couple of minutes, or whatever. But when
3 hours
there
once.
for 50 minutes,
sometimes 3 hours. Dad, you told me it was 3 hours once.
Oh, blimey, yeah.
Dad just
Anyway, look, we've had enough of these rants with the admin there at Palace. I mean,
Yeah. Chris Richard, is he starting? If so, Chris Richard's starting. If so, I can't even see that properly. Centre back or right back? Probably centre back, to be fair. To be honest, though, I'd say if Klein was sort of struggling or getting a bit tired tomorrow night, I'd bring Chris Richards on and play him as a right back. He can play centre back, right back. He can play left back as well, but I think Mitchell would be good for the whole game. Another question coming through right now. Can Ferguson start at right back, or maybe as a fast centre back?
Well,
hence to why, as displayed at QPR, hence to why a lot of people thought Vieira would play with a back three, or could still possibly make that decision.
I mean,
do you know, it reminds me of Ferguson a bit, slightly, in some weird sort of aspect. David Luiz, he was another quick centre back, and as you play three at the back, it suits him. Maybe that suits Ferguson. Maybe he's better off in a back three. Back five than he is in a back four as a right back.
Montpellier, one of the Montpellier goals.
Where he was nowhere to be seen. He wasn't even
marking. I don't know where he was. I'm not even sure. He come on.
Yeah.
But because he replaced Mitchell. But
when the
goal was scored, I'm not quite sure where he was, but he wasn't. He certainly wasn't in his position.
Don't you think he reminded you of a younger Van Aanholt slightly? Pushing up the pitch.
I don't want to say that's not very nice.
No, I'm joking. But I hope that don't happen anyway.
But look, he'll learn.
Yeah, I don't think Loftus-Cheek is good enough to start for us anymore. I think you're getting the team easily, to be fair, if we actually did agree to deal. But it's all sort of gone a bit quiet, and then it's up here that he's coming. Then
I think Loftus-Cheek is never going to make it at Chelsea.
No, he knows that.
He's never going to.
He's at the prime of his career, basically.
He's never going to be a consistent player at Chelsea. So he either needs to
bite the bullet and just
he needs to just accept it, take the money, and accept that his football career is going to be sitting on the bench and coming on for 20 minutes.
Would you say the same for
he goes to a club that it's going to have to drop his wage, but he plays at a club that's going to play and give him more playing time. But because when he plays for Chelsea, he never finishes the game. And when he's on the bench, then he comes on. But I can't remember probably the last time he played 90 minutes in a game of football.
God
You know
knows.
what I
He
mean?
always comes on usually as a sub. Ben Norton would have liked to have gotten Wan-Bissaka even if on a loan, because our right backs Klein and Ward aren't getting any younger and Ferguson's always injured. That is a point. Do you agree with that? He would get Wan-Bissaka in. We would get Wan-Bissaka in maybe on loan or that, because of the likes of Klein and Ward getting on and Ferguson being injured. We have got Chris Richards, but he's not proven yet. Do you sort of agree with that? What do you make of that?
But
it's risky, like doing that.
I mean,
I don't know.
You know,
I'm not sure really.
If you were going to do
he's
that,
got a point.
if you were
That's
going
what I
to do
would say.
that, why didn't you make an effort to get him like, you know, a month ago?
Yeah, exactly.
Before all these other players.
It seems a little desperate slightly that we're sort of willing to sign him now, but we weren't really going to do it that. So we're not in a way.
Because I mean, if Wan-Bissaka comes back to the club, you're going to expect him to be in the first team.
100%.
And then
not on the bench.
You know what I mean?
Not like a battery wire whenever before he was going to shine, and he was on the bench all the time.
and obviously, and you got to remember as well, his form did dip at Man United. I mean, they're getting rid of him for a reason. I mean, if he was playing out of his skin, they wouldn't be getting rid of him. So, you know, I thought he done well when he first went there, and then he sort of went off form. Whether that was because they didn't manage him well, I don't know.
They didn't manage him well. The whole thing at Man United went to pure chaos, simple as.
Abdi's high.
Yeah, to Abdi high. What? Yeah, I'm not going to read that out. Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, whoever's making these stupid questions in that, just get lost. Not even trying to be rude. It's not appropriate. Do it somewhere else. Go on Snapchat and talk about it. Don't bring it on this channel. Pees me off. Yeah, I'm sorry. You know, Arsenal will batter you lot. Crystal Palace are going to get shut on. Yeah. I don't really care. I'm not scared of Arsenal. I'm nervous a little bit. That doesn't mean I'm scared. I'm just nervous of how the game's going to turn out. We could be 1-0 up with 30 seconds to go and bottle it and draw 1-1, like what we did against Brighton, not once but twice.
Isn't it funny? You get a load
That's
of
why I could be.
You get a load of sort of, you know, quite good questions,
Yeah.
and then you get somebody who joins the chat with like one brain cell in his head, and you know, just
looking for attention, isn't
he? Yeah, whatever. Move on.
Yeah. Here we go, people. By the way, Sarex not. Oh, okay, yes, okay. I'll remember that for next time. Sarex. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Am I stupid or something?
Oh yeah, just this guy. He's obviously he's the one that's a bit high.
Oh my god!
That picture is that easy?
I don't know who that is.
Looks like his mum.
Oh, I don't even. I forgot what the questions are now. Flipping out. Oh god, people distracting me in that. Yeah. All right, here we are. Found it now. Scaringe. Yeah. You think Balassi could return? I don't think that's gonna happen.
No,
he's like 30 plus now, isn't he?
Balassi's past it.
Yeah.
I'm afraid. I mean, it's an awful thing to say,
yeah.
But he's past it. You know.
But you take him back on loan.
No.
Imagine if they were so desperate they got Balassi in.
No.
Thinking
I don't know where he went. He went to Turkey, didn't he?
Between Villa, Middlesbrough, Everton, club to club.
Good enough to play in the game anymore.
Yeah, and pretty much, to be fair, I think his pass is better. His pace has gone down as well. Chris Diaz, I think I said that right. Ferocious Johnny, show some respect. Palace battled us last year. I do think we'll win, but it will be competitive. Well, you're not wrong there. I mean, he thinks. Yeah, I mean, he's basically saying Palace did sort of cause Arsenal a lot of problems. Like the 2-2 draw we should have won, and then we battered them 3-0 at Selhurst Park. So I think some Arsenal fans think because they signed Jesus, basically they think it'll be a walk in the park. But other Arsenal fans have shown us respect, and I do appreciate that.
I think what I find with Arsenal,
yeah, go on.
You know, their fans aside, is that, you know, when we beat them 3-0, we beat them 3-0 because Arsenal never turned up.
Pretty much, yeah.
And you got to think to yourself, when you look at all the players they have in their team, and then they turn up and they don't actually even perform.
Yeah.
And you got to sort of question the manager.
Arteta. I was going to ask you that. What do you make of Arteta? He's under a lot of pressure after bottling top 4. And if they don't cut the mustard this season with signings like Zinchenko,
I still don't think he's
quite young as well, isn't he?
I'm still not. For me, I'm still not sure about Arteta as as a manager. He just makes. I think when the pressure is on, I think Arsenal will be a better team this year than they were but they didn't need much improvement from last year. I mean, they should have with the team they had, they should have done a lot better last year. And they've got new blood in this year. So you'd like to think that they're going to do better.
But even Youssef said different Arsenal this year.
So I think they're going to be. It's going to be a tougher game tomorrow night than it was last season. That's for sure. There's no doubt about that. It's not going to be. It's going to be different. Arsenal are going to turn up tomorrow night. First game of the season. But I think the interesting thing with Arsenal is after the World Cup, with a lot of these teams,
especially Man City as well.
what you've got to remember. A Premier League season is a long season, and this season we've got a 6-week interval with the World Cup.
And then after that, a lot of games are still going to be played on top of each other as much as they are before the World Cup.
So I think it swings and roundabouts with the bigger clubs because you can have some players who want to get in the World Cup, and they get injured, or they come back, they've not had a good World Cup, they've got to pick themselves up. They're potentially playing 60 games in a season, and plus it with the World Cup games.
Some maybe 70.
You can pay a player as much as you want. It's you can pay him £400,000 a week, but physically, there's only so much a human body can do.
100%.
And to ask a fully fit professional footballer to play 60 games in a season, he just isn't on. I mean, he just isn't on, and that's where a team like Arsenal towards the end of the season, you might begin to feel it. But I wish we were playing Arsenal 10 games in rather than the beginning of the season.
Even after the World Cup straight away.
But I mean,
we'll have to wait and see that.
I mean, I love the way Arsenal play. I always have done, but I get really fed up with their fans. Some of them. I mean, I used to
go troops, DT.
The fans behind the fans.
How delusional they can be sometimes.
The fans behind Arsenal TV. There's only there's a guy called Judge. He's the only one that I would probably sit down and have a conversation with.
Judge,
and the guy that probably runs
Robbie.
The rest of them, I honestly, I've got no interest in them, and they just they just pretend Arsenal fans. They've probably been watching Arsenal the last couple of years. And I don't. And the interesting thing that I thought
they do off a club basically.
Last season was the first time when we beat Arsenal 3-0. The actual Arsenal fans stood behind, and I thought, they're going to have a right old go at their players, and they didn't. They really surprised me. They didn't. They stood there and they supported the players, which was a good thing to do.
But then in America, you got people like Troops who are screaming and cussing at Arteta, and he's got his kids in front of him.
What I mean? And then
fake,
and then you get
fakest person.
Then you get these idiots idiots like Troop, who try and pretend they're some sort of Arsenal fan in New York. I mean, it's just pathetic.
I'm sure
if you spoke to the genuine Arsenal fans, right? I reckon the majority of them hate Arsenal.
Do you know what I'm gonna tell you? I went to Arsenal back in January for the League Cup semi-final when I lost to Liverpool at the Emirates. The one I went to, and they were all saying, "AFTV, get out of our club." They were saying stuff about DT. I met Robbie as well, and a few people that I was with. They were cussing at AFTV. They were losing.
And I just, Arsenal fans, what I mean. And for that, I just think the Arsenal TV has just sort of lost their face. It's all become some sort of celebrity thing. I don't bother with them anymore. It's just, I mean, to be honest with you, you got. I mean, I don't want to say anything nasty about Ty and all the rest of it, but honestly, people laugh at him. They don't laugh with him; they laugh at him.
100%.
And
couldn't agree less.
You know what I mean? And he just comes out with stupid stuff, and I just really can't be bothered with it. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, we're going to move on, especially.
Let's get on with that Crystal Palace.
Our Crystal Palace starting 11. Now, this is what I've gone for. I've gone with a 4-2-3-1 formation, and that. So yeah, I'm going to sort of get into it in a bit as well. As you can see here, now this is my lineup. This is our lineup, but it's basically mine. I didn't tell him about it. Yeah, I should have. Yeah. I thought you would agree, but I don't think so. Let's go. Let's go with. I've got it here as well.
Yeah.
Actually. In goal for Senate guide, so not surprised. Butland's out injured for 2 months. Johnson's probably out for a month. Remy Matthews has been sold, so we sort of only got one goalkeeper.
Who's our sub goalkeeper?
Some goalkeeper from the cat, yeah, probably you or someone, or
probably
my mate. So you could probably
I've got to turn up at the game tomorrow night with my boots.
Shout out James.
I'll be the goalkeeper.
Literally, honestly. I've gone with a back four, left back Tariq Mitchell, Gay and Anderson as a centre back to right back.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah, I think that's an experienced back four as well. And they've already beaten Arsenal this back four pretty much, so they know what it takes to be solid in that as well. And in midfield, right, it's what I'm going to take. In midfield, yeah, I've gone with Doucouré as a central defensive mid, Schlupp centre mid, but sort of he can sort of like, it's sort of like a box-to-box midfielder, slightly defending, then he's pushing forward at times. And in cam, I've gone with Eze.
Yeah,
the way he played against Montpellier.
Yeah, but yeah, midfield's all important. I would rather see probably 4 players in the midfield.
4 rather than 3.
Yeah,
ignore this. I would have 4 in the midfield and 2 up front. Now this is what Dad. Listen to me right now. Yeah, left wing Zaha, striker Odds and Edwards, right winger Jordan Ayew. Now I'm gonna talk about this. The reason why I put Ayew on the right, well, he scored against Arsenal last season. He has got a good record, but it's hold up play, and you know he can keep the ball in the corner and he could draw a lot of players in, and he's got the experience. If you start Obi, I don't think he'd have a clue, and I think he's sort of being for a shock. Zaha. Yeah, I mean, Zaha's always going to be in there. He's had a good preseason. He's been on fire. And Edouard's in there because of the 2 goals he scored. And I feel like that. The more game time Edouard gets, if he can get a load of games and if he can score consistently, he'll get his confidence up. And I have a feeling if we start him, he's due a few Premier League goals and he might get a couple tomorrow potentially, maybe even 1. Who knows?
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Yeah, but I think that
that's
I'm all for positive play and being positive, but I think your selection there is just a little bit too positive for me.
Too positive. Why do you think that?
Well, against Arsenal, yeah, because I think with Arsenal, I don't want to. It's not like talking, but I think we need to be a bit more defensive minded in midfield. And
we've got
because look, that's
why we got the
Arsenal are probably going to be better at keeping the ball than we are.
Yeah. No,
so you know, I would rather probably have 4 across the middle, but have those one of them as a real positive play.
So you're saying to have Eze and Cam, like 2 centre mids and Doucouré as a CDM.
I just think we need to sort of.
Okay. Let me ask you this: who would you play as the 2 centre mids? Forget Eze and Doucouré, the 2 centre mids. Who would you play? Because McCarthy's injured.
I would probably. I mean, I'd put Doucouré and Hughes in there.
No, but Doucouré is going to be defensive mid, like 2 centre mids.
I'd put Eze as a centre mid.
You would put Eze as a centre mid.
Yeah, I think,
and not have him as a cam. Is that what you're trying? That's what you mean.
I mean, I think that he's best in the middle of the pitch.
But who would you have alongside him then? Just wondering. Not Doucouré, you put him as a defensive mid. You have Eze as a centre mid. Who else are you thinking of?
I need to look at it.
Hughes maybe? Do you see what I'm saying? Because we've got a few players injured and Vieira's complaining about us not having enough players to sort of strengthen our squad, innit? Do you know what I mean?
It's a difficult one. Because the thing with Arsenal is that, you know, if you go a goal down, then you're going to be like struggling.
No, you always are. I mean, most of the time, we always peg it back to 1-1 or come from behind to lead, like what happened at the Emirates and that as well. We're gonna get back to a few questions in that as well. Krista has guys, good luck to you. I hope you get 10k subscribers and can grow from there. Tough road, but stick with it. Yeah.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
That. We're not far off 2k. We're just I think 2.
We're getting. I mean,
I'm like 200 subs away from 2k. I think maybe less.
He gets all the I actually
tell them the story. You're gonna tell them. You're now a celebrity.
Tristan, we got to the ground. Tristan goes somewhere else, and I just turned up to the ground. And some guy goes, "Oh, it's Tristan's dad. We watch you," and he comes up to me and he's like, and he phones his daughter. He said, "We're talking to Tristan's dad," and I'm like, "What?" And you know, so we have a long chat, and we love it. I mean, you know, so we chat to them, and then watch it on and all the rest of it. So I think it's great. The support is, for the Palace fans, I love them to bits.
It's a mix of support.
I mean, I've been watching Palace basically all my life, and because I said at the guy, the story I tell, where I started off as a Chelsea fan,
Okay,
I know. So we just move on from that for whatever reason. Then I went to Palace and I haven't looked back since. But and I can remember the days when 50,000 at Palace watching the Burnley game to get promoted. So
those are the days.
What can you do? You love you love your club, and I love the fans, and it's just brilliant.
Don't get many fans like Palace supporters.
No, you don't. You don't.
We need to sell Klein or Ward, leave one of them on the bench, and sign a new right back, or give more playing time to Adaramola. Well, Adaramola has gone to Coventry on loan for the season, and that's good. He'll get more experience, and who knows if he's part of a Coventry side that's fighting for the playoffs or gets automatically promoted, he might be a good player.
I think
I disagree with that though. What do you make of it?
In some sense, look, he's right. There's going to come a point when Klein and Ward are going to come to the end of their career. Now,
but if he said that at the beginning of next season, if we're in the Premier League, of course,
it might be.
I would agree. But now it's just like
the thing is,
I don't know.
I think Klein, Klein was brilliant last season. I thought, and hopefully he can keep it going.
Yeah.
He's
30, Klein.
Yeah, but
I think I reckon he's got a couple of years.
Look, a lot of players. There are a lot of players out there that get better. They get to a particular age. You look at the
body.
Well, who's that Madrid centre forward?
Karim Benzema.
I
thought he was finished.
What a player. What do you think he was finished these days?
He's won a lot, hasn't he?
You think that he's won everything, and then last season he was just
best striker in the world.
Well, he was best striker
pretty
in the world.
much.
Was he 34, 35?
35.
So it can happen.
Better than Ronaldo. Better than Messi.
Some players just your brain's still playing. I mean, you physically you might not be able to do it, but your brain's there.
Yeah. And
you can get yourself in positions, and you can read games better. You might not have the pace, but if you get yourself in a situation and really experience and stuff. So.
Hold on, sorry, I missed something out here. Shout out Lee Pope. I'm good, mate. Appreciate the love as always. Mike Bell here says Arsenal fan here, got to respect Palace away. Yeah, I mean it's never easy when you come to Selhurst Park, as you found out last season. I can remember the 3-0 defeat back in 2017 when Big Sam was in charge when Kabay scored that stunning goal. Luka got a penalty a few minutes later, and then you lot turned on the players.
When we beat Arsenal 3-0 with Sam Allardyce, one of the things that I thought we were going to have a good night was that the Arsenal team, we got to the ground, and the Arsenal team weren't even there. They turned up late.
I remember 5 years ago.
Whenever a team turns up late for a football match,
it's never a good sign.
It's never a good sign.
Yeah, shows your manager's
never a good sign. It's never a good sign.
Honestly. Mike Bell says AFTV content creators doesn't represent us well. I agree with that. Maybe a couple of years ago I would have disagreed or be 50-50. Now I don't like them and I don't rate them. After what's gone on recently, after what I've experienced, I don't respect any of them. Some I do, but not all of them. I think
initially it was great because it was all new and all that. But now and the one of the things that I mean for me was the way that what he did to Tristan when Tristan posted a video and Troops nicked it. You know what I mean? Which was absolutely appalling. So
took advantage.
We had we played Arsenal during COVID, and we Tristan filmed something with the fans.
Yeah.
And he put it on his YouTube, and Troops came along and didn't even ask him for it, just nicked it. So if I ever see Troops, I'll tell him about it. But and I told Tristan to put it down to experience, which we've done.
Yeah.
But I just think that with Tristan, he was like 17, 18, and trying to make his way in the world, and this guy just comes along and scrapes his video and sticks it on his TikTok or Instagram or whatever.
So
and
viral.
Gets like 10,000 views.
Well, it's so viral.
I know, you know what I mean. And I just thought
it didn't sort of get to me.
I just thought his behaviour was outrageous. The fact that he never even asked permission to do it. You know what I mean? And that to me sums up him as a person. He says more about Troops than he does about anything else.
Pretty much.
And me in my younger days, I used to go if Palace weren't playing. One of the first teams I used to look out for to go if I wanted to was Arsenal. Sometimes I'd just get on the train and go up and watch Arsenal, if I had nothing else to do.
I'm like that.
Because I always liked the way they play football and stuff, So, and I know that they're not the genuine Arsenal fans.
No, I know the real Arsenal fans. I've been there and experienced it.
They're not the real. They're not the genuine Arsenal fans. They're just wannabes. You know what I mean?
Literally.
Anyway,
let's
carry on.
Callum Tilling, yeah, I'm guessing that's how you say his name. If I'm wrong, correct me in that. I'm going to the game tomorrow with my mate who is in a wheelchair. He is an Arsenal fan. I'm Palace. Would I be all right wearing my shirt, or should I keep it
You'll be
quiet
fine.
anyway?
You'll be
You'll be
fine.
fine.
You'll be fine.
And if anyone bothers you, they're just stuck up.
Yeah.
There.
If you get a bit of trouble, try and keep. We're at the homestead. We're at the White Horse Lane
yeah,
end,
we could,
towards the back.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We'll probably,
if anybody starts calling whatever, just come and get us, and I'll sort them out. I listen. The one thing I love about the women's football is that it's difficult, but they one thing I like is I think you can go to women's and all the play, if they could, they'd all sort of mix. I wish I could go to a football game, and just sit next to all the other players, the other fans, football. Just sit there and all the fans.
Yeah, that's I rate that.
I hate all this segregation. I know it's good because when you score a game, it's great.
It's always been like that, though,
I understand it, but I love going to the away ground, and I love getting on the train and talking to the away fans and just talking to them about football.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I've never, in all my days, I know how to sort of avoid trouble. You can see it coming half the time.
I'll give you an example. Can I say sorry? I'll give you an example. We were coming back from the Wolves game. We won 2-0 back in March.
Yeah.
A couple of Wolves fans started shouting a load of abuse at us, calling us Cockney so and so's. And I was just like, I was like to you guys, just walk on. I wasn't gonna say that, but I was sort of scared. I didn't know what to expect because I had my Palace shirt on. They just lost 2-0. I didn't know what was coming.
It's just not worth getting bothered by it. But I mean, I can remember when we got beat by 9-0 by Liverpool, and I went up to Anfield that night, and it was fantastic. Before the game, it was the very first time that I went to an away game, and we went into a pub. We were all Palace fans. We went into a pub that was full of Liverpool fans. We sat down and just chatted about football. It was just brilliant.
You always feel comfortable when you're surrounded by Liverpool supporters. Even last season, we had a couple.
I know, and that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. You shouldn't have to go to a football game and feel threatened in any way.
Can I say something though? There's some grounds that I don't know, like Everton after what happened when they started attacking our players. Bunch of muggy scousers. It's funny. Not Liverpool supporters, Everton. There's a difference between an Everton fan and a Liverpool fan.
I find that actually.
It's so obvious. Everton fans have got a bit of fight and aggressiveness about them in all the wrong ways. Liverpool just calm and relax and just don't care who you are. They'll show you respect.
Even like the early days of Liverpool. I mean, they were very appreciative of teams that came there and played football.
Yeah, unless it's Man United or Man City.
So,
or Everton. Mike Bell says, do you feel about
how do you feel about Vieira's manager? Well, I must admit, when he was first appointed, I had my doubts. I thought.
Oh, how? Yeah, sorry.
I had my doubts, and how wrong I was. He's still learning. He's still. I think sometimes he's got to improve his man management. I can understand his frustration at the moment, not having all the players that he wants. I think he knows that the team could be strengthened. But I like the way that the style of play he's trying to play.
I've got one thing I want to ask. What he said about him not having enough players. Do you think that may mentally sort of affect the players going into tomorrow's game slightly?
I don't.
Because it's happened before. I remember when David Moyes was the Sunderland manager like 6 years ago. And at the beginning of the season, they had a dreadful start. And he said, we're in a relegation battle. And then it got worse, really. And they didn't win a game for like December.
Yeah, well, there's a bit difference between...
No, but like,
there's a bit of a difference between...
It can get the players' heads a bit and just sort of drop their confidence.
It can do. I don't think Vieira, he's not looking for... He's not turned around and said, oh, look, we're 5-6 players short and whatever. He's just saying, I think he just wants a few more personnel. So I think what is a message to the chairman saying, look, I need a couple more players.
I think what happened, we still got like basically a month left. So,
but I think he's got to. I think last season there was a couple of times when Vieira didn't quite get
his man management,
his tactics entirely right.
Seeing out the game as well.
Some of his substitutions were a bit bizarre.
It's like you're winning 2-1 and there's 10 minutes to go. Chuck on Tompkins for an attack.
Yeah, I think the Arsenal game, I didn't get
that's giving the opposition a different message.
But he's learning, so I mean,
but we need to. This is the season. He's got. We got to learn from our mistakes as a club, as a team, and progress and push and go.
I mean, I think it's great that he's got all that experience in the Premier League. So I have got a much more better opinion of him now than I did 12 months ago.
Yeah, no, same here. To be fair, let's get on. Sarah Rex CPFC. Thoughts on the new Irish players coming in, Austin or Bean and
O'Brien and Barmer.
I think so. Maybe for the youth, I haven't read about that. But I will keep it. I will look out for that afterwards.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's what. I think he's on.
Yeah, there was one Irish player.
There was one. I do remember. Yeah. Well, the more youth players we can get into our academy and develop, the better and bigger, our academy will get. Especially for the future. Maybe
you'll know that jump from bringing players in.
Yeah.
And then playing in the Premier League.
A bit like Luke Plant.
You've got to be a real exceptional player to just jump straight into the first team.
Well, I can remember when Mitchell, we just got straight into the team and he was playing game after game. It happens just like that. Look at Basaka. Luke Plant just coming in. I think he's struggling. He's not very good at, Luke Plant. He's not very good at keeping the ball. I know he's young, but I just don't think he's got the experience. He may be a substitute player. He may just come on as a sub and score a goal, and that might get his confidence up. But I just sort of don't think he's ready. I thought he was ready, and then I see him play, and I can see why Vieira doesn't really play him as much. He proved me wrong there, Patrick Vieira, to be honest with you. Ben Norton, apparently Ben White could be playing right back tomorrow. The fans will get onto him. Mentally, he might have a bad game. Every time he was touching the ball last time when he came to Celtic, they were booing him. It's like when Basuma plays in a Spurs shirt at Palace. They'll be booing him as well. Ex-Brighton players.
Well, what you
scum. Do you know what I mean? Simple. Game and Adams World. Who do you think will play down the right without Elise? I'm going to say Ayew. Like I said, with his experience, his hold-up play draws a lot of players in. He's got a good record against Arsenal. I think this sort of game against Arsenal as well, judging on the previous times he played the Gunners and that, will see him. His end product needs to improve. He needs to be less selfish, and he just needs to go with the flow of the game. And if he loses the ball, he needs to go back and get it and put the work in. That's what I can ask for him. I think Ebiobi hasn't got the experience. If Ayew does tire down a bit, I would bring him on as a substitute. And he might, if it's late in that, he might just, show us what he's worth really. It might get a goal, might get a decent assist, or might cause Arsenal problems down that wing with his pace in that as well. Tone M, take Arsenal for granted at your own Pearl. What's it saying?
Peril. Take Arsenal for granted.
Yeah.
Well, we don't. We don't take any team for granted. We've never taken. That's the thing. That's the difference. Where I think Arsenal sometimes do take teams for granted. If any team takes team for granted,
give an example.
It's going to be Arsenal.
Give an example.
I mean,
not with us. One game last season.
Well, you can mention the Arsenal game when Arsenal came to Palace. I mean, Arsenal were on a pretty good roll before the Palace game, and I think they just walked out on the pitch and they turned up and thought, all we got to do is turn up at Palace and we'll win the game.
Do you know what I love here about Arsenal last season? All the fans were singing, we're going to get top 4 Champions League and we're going to beat Tottenham, and they bottled it at Tottenham, and they were still singing that, and then they went and fell at Newcastle, and the season was done for them, basically.
If any team, if you want to talk about taking things for granted, perhaps if Arsenal didn't take the lower teams for granted, they might have got top 4 last season. But
the one game which they bottled it was the Brighton game at home. If they would have won that, they would have got a top 4. Out of all teams, you lose to Brighton at home. And don't get me wrong, Brighton were a good team last season. Obviously, this season may be different, but that was the game that I think just knocked Arsenal back badly, and the confidence sort of slipped away a little bit from the players trying to push for the top 4. Mike Bell says the Wenger abuse was too much for me. God.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Arsene Wenger, the problem with that obviously is that they should have got rid of him earlier in that respect.
10 years before he retired.
I mean, he did get a bit ridiculous, to be honest with you. But any other manager would have been sacked like 2 years previous. So But so when someone's at the club and you don't feel like anything's moving on, then unfortunately you've got no one else to blame. So the manager's going to come in for more and more abuse. So
it goes, isn't it?
But
let me move on to the other question as well. I take my son football. Violence is stupid. Beer and banter will do. Yeah, I mean you're not wrong there. But I mean all of this stupidness. I mean, I'm gonna call out Man City fans for this. They won the title against Villa in the last game of the season, or scoring like 3 goals in 5 minutes. Full-time whistle, and all the fans piled on the pitch. They just won the Premier League, and you get some stupid idiot who goes and smacks the goalkeeper in the head not once but twice. The Villa goalkeeper. I think it was Olsen in goal for them. Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just ridiculous. Everton fans trying to attack Vieira, and then he kicked them back and got away with it. Didn't even get away with it. I mean, I would have done the same thing with self-defense, so he shouldn't have been prosecuted anyway, Vieira. Anyway, I'm proud of what he did. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, that's why, as I say, during the weekend with the women's football tournament, the Euros, it was such a fresh like it's like when they went to they went to a lot of these places. I was watching it in the parks and stuff like that. When England scored, it was just great. When the England guy, the men score, all you see is a massive beer cans flying up in the sky, and when you go and watch the men's football, particularly in England, I found it can be very, very toxic.
No, it can be.
It can be incredibly toxic.
It's like if it's Man U Liverpool. Imagine if there's a Manchester United fan sitting in the Liverpool end, he's a dead man walking. Or if it's a Leeds supporter in
it's a shame because there were some clubs that I won't go. Well, not I won't go to, but you feel really
risky. Millwall,
and
Leeds,
you
Everton.
feel a bit whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I mean, Palace aren't like angels in that respect. You know what I mean?
We vandalised our own coach, for God's sake, thinking it was Middlesbrough's a few years ago. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I mean, look, some of the Palace fans, they're not angels.
No.
By any shape of the imagination, to be honest. All clubs have got these crazy people.
Even Fulham and Bournemouth.
But I mean, I hate it, quite frankly.
It gets too much.
I mean, I took my wife to a football game, our first football game when we first got married, and that was like 25 years ago and stuff. And she's never been since because she went there and that was Arsenal as well. It was a League Cup game, and she just couldn't believe the amount of the behaviour of some of the fans. Just shouting, the abuse that they were shouting. And she's never been to a game since. It was a great shame. You know what I mean? But
what happens. Some people just don't want to be around that sort of environment, especially when it gets really violent. Then you got idiots tossing bottles at each other and chucking flares and the pitch invaders as well. The Millwall supporters.
I come from an age where
Palace fans are like crap. I mean,
if any of you went to watch the football during the 70s and 80s and stuff, it was a lot worse then than it is now.
Imagine.
It was pretty poor. It was really rough, to be honest with you. It wasn't good. It was not good.
Let's hope there's no trouble tomorrow. You never know. You're gonna have the Arsenal fans who are gonna be singing Arsenal and like Eagles.
The only thing you find now is that if you start any trouble,
you get banned for life.
You're going to get banned for life.
If you run on the pitch, you get banned for life.
It's a criminal offence.
Yeah, but even them pitches,
all those Everton fans that run on the pitch after the Crystal Palace, technically committed a crime. But how many of them got arrested? Probably none of them.
Probably that too. Or do you remember that? That Nottingham Forest fan that headbutted Billy Sharp? That was so. When I saw that, I was like, that talk about taking it too far.
The thing is, right, I don't know why. Why is it? If I walked down the street and did that, I'll be rightly arrested.
Well, obviously,
and they throw away the key.
Well, he got jailed, didn't he, or something?
I mean, I honestly, it's just something that I can't even begin to understand, and I don't want to understand it. So there you go.
Honestly,
I honestly hope he wins the cup with you lot. Who's he talking about?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
I think it means Vieira.
Vieira. Sorry, it makes sense.
I mean, we'd love it if Palace won.
Yeah, we should have won the FA Cup back in 2016 with 12 minutes.
I mean, if you watch our game against Chelsea, the semi-final,
if we were too negative.
If he wasn't, well, yeah, there was that.
It was so obvious we were that
in the game. That's the only thing. I think we could have been a little bit more positive.
We just sort of like taken more risks,
because I think we probably paid Chelsea a little too much respect. But the thing that made it again for us is the Chelsea fans. I think it was like being at a library. This is a Chelsea fan. A piece of plastic. Yeah. Look, you hear it. Yeah. Plastic. They were so quiet, and
honestly.
And that's what I love about Crystal Palace. We go to these games.
Arsenal would have done a lot better.
No, they would have done. There were just some teams that I don't know. The atmosphere is dead.
But could you imagine if we got to the final with Liverpool, Palace and Liverpool?
Oh, that would. I wanted. Do you know what? I thought if we'd have got to the final with Liverpool, then it would have been a great occasion. The atmosphere would have been absolutely electric, and I think we would have beaten them.
I have that instinct a bit as well. He's always. The next time we play Liverpool, which actually isn't on the 15th of August, you're going to be thinking we're going to win that as well.
I Do you know what? I'm more optimistic beating Liverpool at Anfield than I am getting a result against Arsenal tomorrow night.
God, who knows? Might be the other way around. We might win both of them, or we could lose to Arsenal and then win at Liverpool.
Yeah.
And then Palace fans are going to think we're going to get Europa League rather than Conference League. You know, it's like, I remember last season. Honestly, oh, here we go. We're never beating Liverpool.
Well,
Palace fans for you, innit?
I didn't think we beat Man City 3-2. I didn't think that we would beat Man City
2-0.
Get 4 points of them last season.
Yeah.
I didn't think Sunderland would beat Leeds in the cup final in 1973. So look, you know, it is what it is. But
you know what else I didn't think would happen? I didn't think we'd lose 4-0 home to Sunderland before they got relegated. Or we somehow stayed up.
But yeah, I mean, I must admit, Liverpool.
That Darwin Nunes player, I think he's gonna cause mayhem in the Premier League.
He's scary, but what as I say, with this season,
even without Mane,
what you got to remember, particularly towards the end, these big clubs with all the games are going to be played, those players are going to be tired. They are going to be really tired, and that's where.
Could you see someone? I know I've predicted City to win the title in my Premier League predictions. Go and check that out, people. By the way, but. Do you think you could see someone like, I don't know, what Arsenal or Tottenham winning the league? If someone like Man City and Liverpool with the players, they've got to get tired. If they're playing so many games and you've got a lot of Tottenham and Arsenal players that don't go to the World Cup, could you see that happening maybe? Especially with Tottenham. Antonio Conte has won it before in the Prem. He signed the players he wants.
I think as managers, I think Conte's more likely to win the Premiership than the Arsenal guy. What's his name?
Arteta.
Yeah. So in that respect. You know, I can. The thing with obviously Liverpool, Man City, and Tottenham, they're all going to be. It's how you manage that. I don't think Tottenham have got. I don't think they've got a big enough squad to get them through the season.
Come on, Dad. No, I'm sorry. I don't.
I don't think.
Why are we talking about Tottenham now? But yeah, but come on.
But no, I don't.
No.
The thing is,
do you know if they signed? They've signed Ivan Perisic on a 2-year contract. They've signed Richarlison. They signed Spence, who was the fullback for Nottingham.
I know.
Who else did they sign?
No, don't forget these. These teams are going to be playing.
Do you think Arsenal have a bigger squad than Tottenham?
They're going to be playing 3 times a week.
I'm just saying, though. I reckon he's got players in because they're in the Champions League, and he's, you know, I think they have one team for the Prem and one team for the Champions League. Cup competitions. If you're Antonio Conte,
I think, or even Arteta. Chelsea. My gut feeling is, I think Chelsea are going to have a poor season. I think Arsenal are going to have.
What's your top 6? Go on. What's your top 6?
My top 6 is going to be Liverpool
to win the title.
I think Liverpool will win the title.
Wow. Okay.
Man City will come second.
Yeah.
I think Tottenham will come third. I think Arsenal will come fourth.
There you go.
And I think Chelsea would get fifth
because they don't have a striker.
Actually, Man United they had a good pre-season, so I think Man United could get fifth, and I think Chelsea could slump to sixth.
You think Chelsea are going to slump to sixth because? Go on. What's your reason? I think
they've not had a good pre-season, and I just got a funny feeling that things just aren't quite right at the club.
With the financial takeover as well.
I don't know. Things just aren't right there at the moment. I think.
Honestly, got a few more questions from S33K1 yet again. It's because of the draws that cost us. Yeah, exactly. All the how many draws? How many games did we draw? Was it 12?
Well, no, it's not so much the draws. It was the games that we drew, and we should have won them.
Brighton.
Arsenal. Oh my God! I still can't.
That as Pep would say, twice.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Brighton Arsenal, for instance, that's 4 points dropped. 4 points in those 2 games. We should have won.
Too many points dropped.
You know,
the Villa game away from home, we should have won that because Villa were crap. The one away we went to.
I know. What was
Leicester, the 2-2.
Leicester game. Now that we were 2-0 down against.
We shouldn't have been 2-0 down.
We went 2-0 down because of the first goal. First goal was an error, knocked our confidence, and we fell asleep in the second goal. If we'd have gone in at half time 0-0, we would have come out and won that game.
Can I say something to you? The amount of games last season which we went a goal down and 2 minutes later go and make it 2-0 when the game was dead.
Yeah, I mean,
they got to do something about that because that ain't normal. That happened in about 6-7 games last season. It's just an embarrassment for a Premier League team to be doing the same thing over and over again. It's got a bad mentality within the team there. Hard first game to predict. Speaking of predictions, what are your score predictions? You do yours first, give a reason why. And who do you think is going to score the goals? Go on.
Tomorrow. Oh, blimey.
Come on, Dad.
I'm gonna go for a 1-1.
1-1. Why?
I'm gonna go for.
And who's going to score the goal? Who?
I think.
Who do you think will score the
I think
goal?
Ayew score.
You think Ayew? Big call. Big call.
I couldn't care less he scores for Arsenal. So
I think we know he's going to score for them if he does have a good game. But yeah, why do you think it'd be a 1-1? Not good of Ayew, but why do you think it'd be a 1-1?
I think that. I'm wondering if I'm just hoping that Arsenal might come into the game a bit too overconfident after their good pre-season.
Yeah, I can say that.
You know, so that could be. I think they're going to be a lot better prepared than they were last season.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to the players are going to step up to the plate, and I think that if we can keep it at 0-0 at half time. I think we'll get a point out of the game. It's going to be really tough though.
No, but it's not going to be as easy as the last game. The last couple of games against Arsenal. I'm going to go over 2-2 draw. I think it's going to be Edouard and Wilf to get the 2 goals. I think there's always a lot of goals between Crystal Palace and Arsenal, and I think overall it's just going to be a very open game. Sometimes in the game it's going to be quite tight and that. But I think, both teams' defences, in my opinion, aren't 100%. I mean, look at Arsenal, Tomiyasu and Kieran Tierney are both out, both their star fullbacks and that as well. They've got the likes of Zinchenko. Cedric ain't really the best defensively. I think he might be missing it as well. The fact Ben White may play at right back sort of says it all. But yeah, I think Arsenal might have a weakness in defence. However, going forward, they'll be strong. The likes of Martinelli and Saka and Jesus, who I think are going to be hard to handle at times. But you could say the same for some of our players. If you're an Arsenal fan, look at it. You've got the likes of Eze, Edouard, Zaha coming at you in that as well. Ayew. Even got the likes of Mateta and
It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how Arsenal react if they go goal down.
Yeah, very interesting.
Because they've had this pre-season where
they're basically won all their games.
They've blattered everybody. Not only have they won their games, they've actually they've played them off the park.
Pretty much, yeah.
So it'd be nice to see how they react if they were to go a goal down.
Yeah, especially again at Crystal Palace, as we will find out.
Because we go goal up.
Mentally, for some players, ex-Brighton players like Ben White, that gets to them, and then they fall apart for the rest of the game.
The play starts rocking,
Oh, it does. Hopefully, we can see more of that tomorrow. I've got a few more questions coming through right now. Mike Bell reckons Spurs won't win nothing. Don't worry about it. I'm not worried. I'm just saying that I think they're going to have a good season, but who knows? They might come to Palace again and get battered like what they did, like what happened last season. No one saw that coming.
Yeah,
we played Tottenham last time. You can forget the game at the new White Hart Lane or the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Sorry, but yeah, what happens? Tim. Oh yeah, Tim Golden. Would you
take any of No.
Chelsea Red Boys?
No,
that's all I can say.
None of those.
Batshuayi, Barkley, Ampadu, maybe Kennedy.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much. Imagine if Batman came to Palace for a third.
Good evening, all Everton fans.
Oh no. Here we go. Good evening, all Everton fans. Yeah. All
right, we've got news.
Yeah, we've got Everton supporters on this chat apparently. Yeah.
Even
there's a Palace and Arsenal preview. Fair enough. I'm going. Boo. Yeah, so I mean, it's fair enough. He is an Arsenal fan. I mean, Arsenal fans are quite confident usually when they play Palace, and most of the time they end up coming away with jack shit. Predict a score draw.
Predict a score draw. No, that's what he's saying. He thinks it'll be a score.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Maybe a 2-2 for a 1-1. Who knows? SK33. So S33K1. My bad. I'm confident that we can beat Arsenal tomorrow. We're at home and we have the momentum. So my prediction is a 1-1.
Yeah. I think the thing is with Palace as well. Obviously, got to make sure is that if you go a goal up, you've got to keep being a threat as well.
100%. Not just sit back. Not do what we did under Roy.
Go for that second goal. Yeah, I mean, I hate
that don't work no more.
There's no.
That's what Pulis used to do with West Brom. They used to go up and then it would work. Sometimes they're part of the bus and it would work. Then they would sometimes they lose the game. Where it's just like get lost. Honestly,
go and win the game.
Exactly. That's Sunday League stuff, isn't it? Maybe not. But Omar Dejani. We need a midfielder. Well, everyone's been saying that. I mean, you're not wrong. I couldn't agree less with you.
I would like when Luca first come to the club
5 years ago.
Yeah, he first he had a good season. And, So that's the sort of. I mean, Doucouré is obviously there, can do it, but
very young as well.
I'd like just it'd be not. I think we just in the middle of the park. We just need a.
We got Doucouré.
I know, but I think
someone else.
No, but I think
someone like Loftus-Cheek maybe.
No, but I think we just need a bit of a leader on the pitch.
Yeah, MacArthur.
We need a player.
He's the only one who's got the leadership.
Yeah, MacArthur, because of his fitness and his age, But we need somebody of that ilk. I feel so much better when he's in the team, but of course I don't think physically.
Would you say the same for Luca though? Leadership, maybe off the pitch, but I don't know about on the pitch.
The fact is that he's still at the club. I think off the pitch, I can imagine that Luca's probably good. He does a lot of stuff off the pitch, and he's good in the change room, all the rest of it. It's just unfortunate that his legs are not what they used to be. His legs
are gone, basically.
But we need a player that's got some leadership qualities, and I think as well. I mean, again, I'm not quite sure whether Arsenal have got it, because it's one thing that Arsenal have lacked.
Well, look at Aubameyang and Xhaka the past 6 years.
I think there's one thing that Arsenal have lacked over the years, and to be honest with you, I think it's a lack of across a lot of teams.
Well, they made Saka the captain. I think he's done a better job than
I think the one of the things I find is that with a lot of these teams, for me, I might be wrong, is they're overcoached.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Man City.
You're not encouraged to have a personality on the pitch, or to tell a player, look, you go and do that, and if you don't do it, I'm going to have it right. You don't still get it in the 70s and stuff like that. If a player made a mistake, the other players were in there. I mean, can you imagine in the Leeds team, if somebody, if you made a mistake, Jack Charlton's not going to be scared about telling you what you did wrong, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what we're lacking with a lot of footballers. A lot of clubs have got that. And some of these players have got so much money. A lot of other players, I think, are just scared to sort of say anything. But if I was on the pitch and we're playing for Crystal Palace, and one of the players, even if it was Wilf and he missed a sitter or something, he's going to know about it. And you don't get that. And you don't get that with a lot of the teams. And a lot of the clubs, I think, they just don't have the personality.
Kind of weak a little bit. Yeah.
Someone says Brentford beat them 2-1 pre-season.
Who? Arsenal. I don't know. Arsenal never. I can't recall that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I haven't heard about that.
Locked doors or something.
Yeah. Sometimes we have to lock up
shop at the back. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we have to lock up the shop at the back. So I didn't understand that for a minute.
Yeah, I mean,
get what it means by a little still.
Yeah, because I think we've got a lot of attacking players in our team. Okay, which is good. But it's all about balance. It's all about getting that balance. And
the age of it, the position.
I just feel at the moment we've just a bit too much on the attacking team.
Yeah.
We just need somebody.
We need a bit of experience. A tad bit more experience.
If we just had a player who's a leader, got a little bit of skill and a bit of experience, and you can just sort of control things a bit.
A bit like I don't know, like Ramos, for example, when he was at Madrid. I know he's nowhere near the. I know some of our like a captain wise, or just, someone who's just I don't know, just can motivate you and that as a leader on the team. And Tim Golden says, hopefully no Arsenal fans in the home end. Like last time. Well, if that happens again,
to be honest with you, listen, the thing that got me about the Arsenal fans, I mean, look, good luck to them. To be honest, at the time, I was really annoyed about it, and I was angry towards the Arsenal fans.
I was disgusted. Yeah.
But when I got home and I sat down, I got more and more angry with Crystal Palace than I did with those fans, because.
How are they meant to know?
Because I looked at it, I thought, well,
that's the one. How are they meant to know they're Arsenal fans? With all due respect.
Good luck to them. You got into the ground when you shouldn't have done, and you've watched your team play and all the rest of it. So, and I'm sure that we'd have found out beforehand that you was Arsenal fans. You'd have probably got a bit of a battering, I should think.
Well, can you imagine? Sorry, but Dad, can I say something? Imagine tomorrow night, someone wears an. No. Here's the thing: it's midway through the game, and someone celebrates. That where we're sitting, everyone's going to tear into them.
You're going to get.
Because that's happened before.
You're going to get.
There was like a West Ham fan now, and then everyone was telling him to get lost.
You're going to get ripped to pieces. Look, if you're an
away
away fan and you're stupid enough to go, I mean, whilst I would obviously love people to sort of mix with the rest of it. Listen, if you're an away fan, you go and mix with the home fans, and then you score a goal and you jump up. You know what I mean? Well,
So you're the odd one out.
You got to be realistic about these things. You're going to go home via the local hospital.
Speaking of the odd one out, remember the game we went to, the Montpellier game, and there was this guy in front of us who was standing up for like 3 minutes straight. and you went, you were gonna lose it, and I was like,
I mean,
chill. I don't want to cause any trouble.
There's
here.
a debate going on
You know
about
what I mean?
standing up football grounds. I would love it. I mean,
Same.
to be honest
Especially
with you,
in our
if they brought
stand.
terraces back, fantastic.
No, they're already starting.
I would,
You know
I
what
would
mean?
stand and whatever. But
Yeah.
and of course, when we go to watch Crystal Palace play, most of the time we're standing up.
I hate. No,
and we're at the Homestyle end,
yeah.
we're at the side, and we're all sat down, and it's a friendly game, you know. But there was this one guy who just thought, I'll stand up. I thought, well, okay, look, you know, I'm thinking, well, you just got to be a bit sensible about this. Look, it's a friendly game. Everybody else around you sat down. The guy behind you can't see a damn thing. Just if you want to go and stand, go and
you're just where everyone was standing, isn't it?
You know, if it was Arsenal and it was like the know Friday night, tomorrow night, that's not a problem. But it was a friendly, for God's sake, you know, just sit down, man, and whatever. But I got close to sort of, you know, sticking my nose in, but I didn't.
Well, me and my mate tomorrow are thinking of doing something. If there are empty seats where I'm sitting, we're gonna stand up, and if someone says sit down, we're just gonna keep standing until a steward tells us to sit down. Literally, we're gonna do that.
I know. I didn't realize apparently as well. Palace has sold all their season tickets.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Hope you know I found it. Yeah. So and it annoys me because we'll play. They'll say they sold all their season tickets, right? And then in 6 weeks' time or whatever, we'll play Brentford, and there'll be empty seats all around.
Oh, they will be.
And when I
speak, it's an evening game.
I've spoken to Crystal Palace about this, and apparently there are people who buy a season ticket, okay, and all they do is sell it on and give to whatever. They don't go to the games. And the thing is,
they do it to get more of a profit.
They got more money.
Let me say this: you could have a season ticket for like 300 quid across a whole season. Yeah. If you sell it for more, you could end up with 400.
That's the only thing I think we're looking at Brighton do. Where Brighton are concerned, if you've got a season ticket, you have to go. You can't give your ticket to anybody.
Is it?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they check you. So we're at Brighton.
Brighton, but that's really good thing.
If you've got a season ticket at Brighton, when you go to the ground, you've got to actually prove that you own that ticket. You can't give it to your mate to go.
So you're telling me, if you couldn't make it to one game, and I gave your season ticket to one of my mates, if I was a Brighton fan,
you couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it.
No.
Wow. So what I did a few months ago when we played Liverpool, and you couldn't make it due to some other reason, and I brought my mate along with me. And
you couldn't do that. You couldn't do it at Brighton.
If that happened, I'd be fuming too. Good job I found that out. So if anyone I know is a Brighton fan, I'll tell them that, innit? But yeah, you know what I mean. I might, because I will. I'll
be honest with you. One of those things, I'll go, and then I'll never do. But
good experience, at least, isn't it?
I think I'll go. I think that I think the whole thing's great. I absolutely love it. I mean, I just think it's brilliant.
Something different, like, if you know, what I mean. It's growing more as well. Even Ian Wright, he's trying to promote it more. I think their football's going to get better. Yeah, they're going to get more professional. Yeah. I hope. One thing I love about the women's football is they just get on with it. Yeah. There's none of this. There's none of whinging and whining like the other day.
There's none of it. They just get on with it. Yeah. I mean, very rare do you see a player get sent off and they just get on with it. You know what I mean? There's no of these stuff that these players do. It might well be that the more professional they get, you might come into the game. Who knows?
And also it's very relaxed. There's never any trouble. You never feel like there's going to be trouble.
I think the thing is because obviously we go into a lot of Crystal Palace, and so sometimes it's just time for me to keep going. For us, it's a bit difficult. Yeah, but I think I will take in a women's football. And wouldn't it be great if Palace women were playing and wherever they were playing was sold out, and it was just rammed with fans. I mean, if you look at the history of women's football as well, during the Second World War, the only football you could watch was the women's football, and the biggest attendance, one of the biggest attendance ever at a football game, I think, was during the Second World War, and it was the Everton women, I think it was, and there was about 76,000 turned up at Goodison Park to watch a women's game.
I didn't know that. Wow!
And the people, people that. Well, I did not know that. People historically, if you look at it, the people that killed it was the FA. It was the FA that killed it.
FA screwed it.
It was the FA that banned women from playing football. Oh, crap. So the reason why
what it was like back in them days.
The reason why the women's football all dipped is because of the FA. Wow. Killed it.
Jesus.
All these men in the FA, you know, you can just imagine what they're like.
Yeah.
They killed it.
Jesus.
They killed it.
Pretty horrible story to hear, to be fair. So I'm glad it's sort of rising back up and getting better. Yeah. I would love to go to all these football game. I would have loved to go to that final, but the tickets were all sold out, unfortunately. Talking more about Czech Doucouré will allow Schlupp and Eze to push up. Plus, he's good in defence. He's quite solid as well, and he always seems to tackle well. I think the pace of the Premier League, it'll take him time to get used to, but I feel like once he gets a load of games under his belt, like what he's been doing in pre-season, I think he'll be a good player. We've got a really good player. He's pretty good, though. Trust me. So I was when it was confirmed that he was signed for Palace, I was like, wow, we actually got him. I thought the deal was going to fall through because I remember Arsenal, Everton, and Tottenham were interested in him, even Brighton were, and I was like, he might be going to them clubs then, but he chose Palace over them, so I'm pretty pleased about that.
I think Vieira probably had a lot of influence of it.
The French connection a bit, you know what I mean? Oh, here we go. Best away day. I think he's on about last season. What was your best away day? Away day.
Away day. Oh, blimey.
It's a few. Actually.
I must admit, I enjoyed the last-minute goal at Southampton. That was that was pretty good.
For me, go on.
It was almost at the Emirates when we were 2-1.
No, don't even. I can't.
That was almost. That was going to be a night to not to forget, I should say. But no, probably
the Southampton game,
the Wolves game, I think.
Yeah,
because we totally bossed the game.
Oh, we did. We should have been 5-0 up. Let's be honest.
The thing I loved about the Wolves game, all the Palace fans were down it.
And then he had this guy mouthing off at us with his kids in front of him.
This Wolves fan with his family.
I should have filmed him. I was like, he's got his kids.
I mean, I couldn't believe the guy's behaviour in front of his kids.
He was in the family section.
I mean, it was just appalling.
He wouldn't get that at Palace. I'll give you that.
His conduct was appalling in front of his children. I just couldn't believe.
His children were doing it as well.
I mean, that's
the weird thing. You know what I mean, isn't it? Yeah.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah, my best.
So I'd have to say Wolves because we totally bossed it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great.
For me, For me, it's always got to be a Millwall away day. You can't go wrong with that. The atmosphere was electric. It was a proper derby. It was the closest derby you ever get, that I'll ever get to be going to as a Palace fan. That's a one-off. We weren't even meant to be going.
No, we were lucky.
We were so lucky. What an opportunity, and I wasn't going to turn it down for sure. Yeah, it was a brilliant day. That was one of those. It was a proper away day as well. It felt like a proper.
Yeah, I mean, because I can remember my visits to Millwall as a Palace fan, and they weren't good, and I was like dreading it. And then
it was actually better than
the Millwall fans. The police actually controlled it a lot better than they used to.
It nearly went a mess because apparently when a full-time whistle went, obviously the Millwall fans were trying to come towards us, and the Palace fans got out, and the police just about stopped it. So it could have gone all downhill. But
the way that ground is situated and stuff, it can get really tense and really sort of whatever.
The amount of stuff being thrown around, it was hell there, but it was fun at the same time. You know what I mean? Try to kill it. Is it just me? But I really do not rate Schlupp. Well, he can get the crucial goals for Palace now and then, but he's not consistent enough. And he's always injured for long periods.
Yeah,
as well.
you can see why. He's never a solid 90-minute player. He gets to a point when he just sort of starts to fade off. The best things for him is when he's attacking, because he's he used to be a winger in these early days. I think when he
left back. No, he's a left back.
Was he left back?
He's not good defensively. Yeah. He was a Watford. Remember the Watford game? Yeah. The away one went to. Yeah. He played left back. And he was rubbish.
Sometimes you watch him, you think, oh, he bombs in and stuff. Yeah. Then other times he disappears.
He just has a really bad first touch. His quality, his final third's not there. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, he's got to an age now where I don't think he's not a player that's probably going to get any better than he is at the moment. I mean, he might be with a bit more experience get better, but I don't think he's going to command a regular spot in that midfield. He's always going to be a player that's going to, he's always going to be chop and change that in and out of the team.
I completely agree with that as well, to be honest. Joe Film says, where do the Palace women play their games? I think it's Dulwich. I think I'm certain it's Dulwich. I'm certain it's somewhere in Dulwich.
That's really poor of me to not know. But I think they play at Bromley.
I'm
not
sure it's
sure.
either Bromley or you're not wrong. It might because I can remember the ground sort of small. We've been past Dulwich and they got like a small football ground,
Yeah, I know.
and it looked exactly like the ground
Yeah.
that I saw when I was watching a women's game once on TV.
They need to get them playing at Selhurst Park.
Yeah, I don't know why are they playing there. It's a bit like Chelsea when they used to play there.
They need to get them playing at Selhurst Park as well. Even if there's just 1,000 people turn up, get them playing at Selhurst Park.
Yeah, exactly. They should have done that time.
I think it's Bromley. I need to check that.
We'll have a look. We'll have a look. Yeah, another question here. Which one of the youngsters would you want on the bench for the game tomorrow against Arsenal? Probably Luke Plange, to be fair. I mean, he's already had a bit of experience with the team. I think if just keep him on the bench. If we do need him, he can play. He can play on the left a bit as well, on the right or on the midfield. We could bring him on potentially. Obviously, Raksaki is most likely to be going on loan. We're not sure where. Yeah, he wasn't even.
I'm just disappointed. I think Raksaki should have been given a better run out.
Yeah, I'm disappointed.
I think he should have been given a better.
He has featured this pre-season, but he hasn't been coming on recently.
I think he should be given a better run out. So I'd like to see him.
I would say Raksaki.
I think giving
or Scott Banks. Scott Banks is another one. He's patient. He's
finishing. They should give him like sort of at least 10 games of like being on the bench or
coming on. He only got 2 appearances last season. The first game of the season, and the last game, I thought he did pretty well. I'm disappointed Vieira's not sort of inducting him into the team and that. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to Forest away next season. I'm definitely going to try and go to that. I've never been Forest before. I've seen it. I'll tell you another history
story.
Yeah, go on.
One of my regrets. One day went away to Nottingham Forest back in the 90s, I think it was, and we'd been playing him in the cup, and there was games being called off, and we Palace fans got there and had to go home because the game was fobbed off or something stupid like that. So anyway, I went to the league game. No, I went to the cup. There was a cup game I went to, and on the coach, and the Palace director gets on our coach with us, and when we get off the coach, he gives a ticket to every single one of us, free ticket for the game. Even though I hadn't been to any of the other games, but I took a free ticket for the cup game. So I had some money in my pocket because I thought I hadn't paid for a ticket. At the game, there was one of these bookies, and it said Palace to win 2-1, Chris Armstrong to score the first goal, and I didn't do it. I don't gamble. I thought, well, I haven't paid for my ticket. I got my money here, but I didn't do it. So go in. Of course, Chris Armstrong scores the first goal, and we go 1-1. Then I think then it was 1-1, and then it was 2-1.
Yeah.
And then in the last minute, Nottingham Forest got a penalty, and they miss it. No, it got retaken. Yeah. I think he scored it. It gets retaken because someone moved, and he retook it and he missed it, and we went 3-2-1 on. Went through, and it was right. We won 2-1. Chris Armstrong, and it was 66-1, and I can always remember that. I'm thinking, it's one of those things you think to yourself, if I'd have just put a 5 on at 66-1. You know what I mean? I could just remember. That's my one sort of memory thing of that game. I don't
gamble, people.
Yeah, I don't.
That's why we got rid of this and that, and we gone with Clinch on the sponsorship.
Yeah, I don't particularly like all these gambling teams. These gambling sponsoring football teams.
Gets a bit boring after a while. Shout out my guy CJ here. CJ's got a question here which says, how do you think we will do tomorrow? What's your score prediction? 9-2. I said 2-2. What was your prediction? You said 1-1.
One was 1-1.
Yeah,
so
it's going to be a tight one, but I think a draw will be fair. But I'll be disappointed if we lose. That's what I could say. We're sort of running out of time, people, so I'm going to try and get through these last 3 questions as quick as possible. The last 3 games of the season, we played a team that have just been promoted. Yep, so I believe it's Bournemouth at home, Fulham away, and Nottingham Forest at home on the last game of the season. Very interesting.
Yeah,
pleased with that. Rather than us having a long.
I think Bournemouth are going to struggle.
Exactly, and he even says we might have to say who basically gets relegated, because I have a feeling them 3 teams are going to be battling relegation.
I think Bournemouth are going to struggle.
This relegation fight this season is going to be hard. The teams that I think are going to be down is going to be Bournemouth, Forest, Fulham, Everton, Leeds, potentially Brentford and Southampton, maybe even Brighton.
Yeah, Southampton didn't finish the season very well.
No, they're pretty poor. They signed some promising youngsters.
Not
Albrio is his name. Yeah. We said it wrong the whole time. He's on there and he looks pretty good.
I just think their managers reach the ceiling. 'Cause I think I like the bit the Southampton manager. I think he's a good manager. I like the way he plays. And I
He
like
needs
the
to
way
go to another club if he wants to grow a bit more.
I think he needs to leave Southampton and go to another club to reach the heights. I think he can reach. I think he's I think he can he's done everything he can do at Southampton, and I just think that I can see him not being at the club at the end of the season. But anyway, that's just my opinion. For what it's worth.
Go. The UK Pat, someone predicted us to lose 4-1 in I think Forest Champ. Yeah, I mean that's their opinion, they're entitled to it, you know what I mean? So anything can happen. It's the Premier League and that. Where are we finishing? I predicted 10th. Where do you think Palace will finish in the table this season? I said 10th. What about you? Be honest. You might.
I think we can finish like.
Where exactly?
I think we can finish. I think we can really push for it.
Oh God! I hope you're right, Dad. I hope that comes back to.
I don't think we can have a brilliant start to the season, but I think we'll get better.
Hopefully. No, we're not. It's a Monday night.
We
just come back from holiday as well. It's just like
it was just so when they changed it to Monday night.
I was thinking,
oh, for God's sake!
It's so unfair. Sky TV for you, innit?
Yeah, we just can't get up. We just can't get up there on them for a Monday evening.
Can't be bothered. I can't motivate myself. I might as well. It's on the box anyway.
I mean, just love to go there.
We went there last season.
I know. We can't.
And plus, if we go up there on a Monday night and get battered, it'll be just miserable.
2 days off work for me.
Yeah.
Forget it. It's rubbish.
Yeah, 2 wins out of 9 since we got promoted.
It's rubbish.
And tomorrow, it'll be 3 wins out of 10 if we win. It would be 2 wins out of 10 if we lose, basically. So yeah. And he's not coming to Crystal Palace. We did speak about it. That's gone.
It's rumours again. I don't think he'll come to Palace. We've got too many other players there now anyway.
In his position in that. But anyways, people, really, really amazed with the amount of support we got.
Yeah, great. People.
Big up the Palace fans, the Arsenal fans, the Everton, Liverpool, and lot. Yeah, shout out to you lot as well. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We're just under 200 subs. Sorry, not under 200. Sorry. Just less than 200 subscribers away from hitting 2K, so we're not that far off. So make sure you click that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. All my socials as well will be in the link in the description down below. Let me know your thoughts and predictions going into the game in the comment section down below. If you want to put anything in the chat, feel free to, and it might pop up later for me on that as well. So I hope you enjoy. We're gonna try and do more previews before games, not especially live, as it's just easier rather than me doing an actual preview video. And I could just interact with people and give our opinions. I just enjoy it more.
Stuff during the World Cup as
well. That'd be fun. Really, what I'm thinking and shop.
Just thank you for everybody for watching. Much appreciated. Love it.
Yeah, and we'll see you a lot for the Arsenal game. The vlog will be up tomorrow night, maybe in the early hours of Saturday morning. In a bit, people.
Take care.
Up the Palace.
Take care. Cheers then. Bye bye.
See you.